Welcome to Kranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Kranky, and this is the Kranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Kranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Kranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Kranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Good evening. It's about 6:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think the last show I did, everything came together about 6:01, and someone told me I was late. That person could not be Jamaican. That's what I'll know.
The new era of business.
Because 6:01 is a good time, even though I do want to make sure I'm always exactly on time. I should say, even ahead of time, because I'm always pretty prompt when it comes to these things. But good evening, everyone. I see Chorus is here. NG876, and you can actually see that I've dropped a link there for one of my more recent telecasts on my new channel, Balanced Views. And my channel was supposed to be named Uncensored Views, but I couldn't. I named the channel. I went through the process, set the channel up, did everything right, the logo, the whole works. And then when I started the channel, I did my first intro and I was going back trying to find it. I realized there's a ton of uncensored views on YouTube, some which you should stay away from, actually. Piers Morgan seemed to dominate that space, but there's a lot of them. And I found mine way at the bottom, which wasn't good. So I went in and I had to redo everything. And in redoing everything, I deleted everything. All my videos were lost. So I spent half my time, bless up best as documenting half my time today trying to find luckily they're still in StreamYard because they weren't on YouTube. I somehow deleted everything because I was trying to change everything over. But eventually I got it done. So its new channel is Unbalanced Views. And that's going to be my pet channel, actually. It's my baby. I think I'm going to love it. It's few viewers so far, and I think I have about 40-something subscribers. So I've been doing it now for a couple of days. I don't have a timeline for it yet. This Kranky Live is supposed to be 6 to 8, Monday through Thursday. Bless up Brian Burke. But I may cut back on this and have a more balance between the two. So I may do them on alternate days. Say Monday for Kranky Live and Tuesday for Balanced Views. And I'm looking forward to it, actually, because Balanced Views is in a period where things are hot across the world, but hot in the US. And I love things that's happening in my environment, in the world in general. Just don't big up Eagle Republic. Just don't want to talk about football, frankly, 24/7. And I will be doing other sports on Kranky Live. NFL, NBA. I'm gonna do a lot of the I'm gonna do some Olympics, but mainly track and field. I'm not gonna do the soccer or football. I'm not gonna do swimming. I'll probably just mainly do track and field. So I intend to do quite a bit of that, actually. And I intend to have some fun here. And by the way, Arsenal is playing their first preseason game this evening. I think it's on the West Coast, so it's probably. I haven't even checked what time it is, but I hopefully I'll be. It's not too late and I can stay up and watch it. But it should be interesting. I know the U.S. played today against France. Last time I was watching the game, the last score I saw was 3-0. So I'm not sure if it ended up that way. I know Japan beat Paraguay by 5. So the scores in the game, Argentina lost 2-1 to Morocco. I thought they had some issues in that game. Spain beat Uzbekistan. I'm messing up Uzbekistan's name, 2-1. Egypt and Dominican Republic tied 0-0. And people, if you look at my thumbnail today, so I'll touch upon that. Notice my thumbnail talks about what the search should be for that we should get a Spanish coach. I'm going to make the case for a Spanish coach, even though I know we don't have the people in place to think deductively and smart enough to do so. So I'm throwing shade at the JFF. But I'm going to make the case why we should have a Spanish coach. And the 3-0, thanks, Fabi. But Dominican Republic, which is, Spain, my understanding is that they are leveraging Spain and helping them with their football. Dominican Republic is a baseball country. And they're drawing with Egypt. And Egypt is one of the better countries in Africa. Says a lot about them and their progress. And you see they play us in the juniors, and we barely beat them in the seniors. And 5 years from now, the way they're going to be better than us, no doubt. If we have the same JFF and we don't progress as we see with our under 20, they're going to be better than us. We need to change. And bless up Sean, bless up 10:30 Brian. Thanks a lot, Brian. So I'll have time to watch it. I can do this show, which is supposed to be from 6 to 8, even though it has its own mind in terms of how it goes sometimes. So I just read the rest of the scores. Japan, which has a very good under 23 team, as Jamaica knows, because we have played them, even our senior team. Last time we went there and played them, when we played, I think we played Serbia. We went over to Asia, and we just got spanked. They ran us off the field. Iraq beat Ukraine 2-1. Mali drew 1-0 with Israel, and France beat US. Obviously, we talked about 3-0. So interesting days in terms of Olympic football. Fab is saying it's a baseball country, but the amount of football fees that there is crazy. Their resource for football is crazy. Yeah. And they're focused on it, right? They have produced a lot of world-class baseball players. And now football is their focus. And if Jamaica keeps going this way, they're going to go by Jamaica. There's no doubt in my mind. Because I think they're trying to do it the right way. And when you leverage Spain, which has done phenomenally well, and I'll talk a lot about that in the second half of the program, because I know if I start talking Jamaica football, that's it. Program done, over. Won't talk about anything else. So I'm going to talk about transfers first. Because see my thumbnail. If you notice look at my thumbnail, people. What does my thumbnail tell you? Bless up New Wave. Bless up Vinci, Anthony Roberts. Would I take Emery? Of course I would take Emery. Emery's a brilliant coach. And I'll talk about that when I talk about the why we should have a Spanish coach and why we should leverage Spain as Jamaica to improve our football. What was the theme you get from my thumbnail, people? Tell me what you get from my thumbnail, because I spent time this morning thinking about the thumbnail. I didn't just willingly throw something together. I use a combination of AI and go search internet to get information to inform my thumbnail. Someone wanted to talk about my thumbnail because I don't want to put together something, spend so much time. I'm not of complaining about them thing, right? So I spend my time and then want show appreciation. I know so I stop beating about likes and subscribe and share, because things have gotten better. They're not perfect, because right now I see 44 and 31. Those numbers don't align. But I'm not spending enough time on it, because if you don't want to subscribe and like, and do it. If you don't want other people to like the program and the program to grow, you'll do it. If you don't want to, I can't force it. So tell me what you saw about the thumbnail, people. The new channel is called... No, I just dropped in the link, actually. Well, the one that shows. It's called Balanced View. So, I'm a balanced person. At least I think I am. It's called Balanced View, people. Look it up, people. I had 3 episodes on there. And I've gotten good feedback for the small number of people who reviewed it. I've gotten good feedback on the channel and the subject being discussed. It was mainly about... Kamala and where she is, and about Trump. So people go over and subscribe. It's called Balanced Views. I did drop it in the links. If you go to the top of this, I'll probably try to drop it again. You'll see it. And it should be a fun channel, because that channel will talk about everything. I'm supposed to do a show on Friday about someone I know is an attorney, so come and talk about immigration, but it may not happen because I'm supposed to travel, so I'm not 100% sure yet. But if I don't, we'll definitely do that actually, and it should be fun. Should be fun. Looking forward to that channel and its growth, and I'm sure a number of you, Vince, are going to go subscribe. And I was talking to one of my ex-colleague from work who was in India today, and I was saying to him, I need where to source information like on India, because as I said before, people, I'm not going to be myopic in how I approach this. I want to talk about the world in general. So what's Vince, you're in the UK, what's happening in the UK, which I know a little bit about, what's happening in India, what's happening in the Middle East, whatever it is. I know we're coming here to talk football, but I'm gonna plug my channel from here. I'm going to talk about it. So my focus now is on the US presidential election, or the ones that are upcoming, and I'm big into it. People, I just gave my first ever donation to a political party in my history, and I've been on this earth for a little while. Part of the reason why I haven't in the past, to be honest, I'll be fair, is because when I worked in corporate, it was painful to try to do it. They want to manage it. You have to give like for a pack. You know, those action groups they have, political actions group they have in Washington. You couldn't do it individually. And if you did, you have to explain why, because they don't want to get in trouble in terms of you donating money. And it's balanced. D at the end, Vince, views. And people, the best way to find a channel on YouTube is there's 3 dots in the right-hand corner when you go in. Click on them. Then you can hit channel, and then the channels will may come up. You're trying to just search through, because balanced views will have a lot of people who may mention balanced views. There could be a moving in balanced views. You won't immediately get to it. So go to the right-hand corner. When you go in to try to search, you put in balanced views, go in the right hand, hit one of those dots. You'll then see a bunch of different categories. Hit channel, it will come up. And it has a symbol similar to what Kranky Live says, but it has a scale in the middle of it. And the scale is just about, justice, and also ties into the whole balance concept. So Nitro says Trump should stop it. Don't waste your money. Poor Nitro. I feel for him. He doesn't know anything called momentum, how momentum works. He doesn't realize that people here were pent up to find somebody to challenge Trump, and it wasn't Biden. Hey, Nitro, when you have $95 million in your kitty and you raise over $100 million in 2 days, and you're a former prosecutor against a criminal, let me not get carried away with talking about it. Come over the channel. We can talk over the channel. Come to the channel, people. We can have the conversation. We're not doing it on Kranky Live. Kranky Live is a sports channel. But Nitro, click Nitro. We can argue with the Nitro. We can have the conversation, Nitro. So we can beat you up, Nitro. Both say it all over. Nothing all over until the fat lady sings. I ain't no fat lady singing. Before games, checking this football talk. Is this about politics of football? Before the game, you should realize that we're very versatile here. Where we don't shut up and dribble. We have brain that works and allow us to be versatile in what we talk about. But it's a sports channel. But if my audience digress into that space, and you hear me promoting my channel anyway, I'm gonna digress with them. Why not? It's fun. Even though we're here to talk about football. So I'm gonna go to the transfer numbers, people. As I mentioned the last time, someone called me out because I did Arsenal. No, it's not balanced 1992. Vince, Anthony Roberts. Let me try to find, and maybe before the game can help me, because I'm sure he know how to find it, and probably drop it in a link since I'm here with my hands full. I'm going to try to look it up, Vincey, or Mr. Anthony Roberts. Let me just try to look it up and see if I can find it. It popped up for me, maybe because I've been looking at it all day, but it popped up for me actually. It jumped right into it, which doesn't say much. Maybe I'm already linked into it. So let me take it all out. Sorry, people. We're gonna get to the football, especially for look, people. There's at least an hour worth of discussion about the coach that we should get. I'm gonna tell you right now. To me, it's all Spanish. Hey, Toffee. As I said before, people, on my Kranky Live channel, and on my new channel, for some people in the US, even some Republicans, there's something called never Trump. That means the person with his character, they will never vote for. right? Even they'll hold their nose and vote for Democrat because the Republican all their lives. They'll never vote for. I just said I would vote for a log or a tree stump or a piece of wood and vote for Trump. And by the way, Kamala is on a roll. I've been watching her all day. She's on a roll. So anyway, they're going to debate and she's going to wipe the floor with him. She will flop in debate. Trump can't debate. Trump just talk a bunch of nonsense and lies. Trump is not a debater. Kamala will have facts on her side. And you can tell she has some oomph. So look, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see, people, because I don't know what you guys talking about. Here's the problem, people. The media has, okay. Let me just talk to myself. Hey, Kranky, focus on sports. No, I can't do that. I can't focus on sports. They're talking politics, and I love politics. Let me just say this and finish up this point. To be talking to myself like a madman. People, the media sometimes defines us and portrays a certain way. So that's the view that we have. But when you see the real person and they're out there stomping, it's a whole different ballgame. Reality sets in and you realize, my perception that's been provided to me and have been influenced is not reality. I think that's going to be with Kamala. Trump is not hard to beat. Trust me. Trump has his fervent supporters. That's one bunch of people. But those people are independent or centrist or Democrat and not voting for Trump. Not when this is all over. That's my view. No, Nigel, we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to go back to the football people because I could talk this all night. You can see it right away that I'm all into this, right? So let me try to pull up the transfer information as I talked before. This is Chelsea. I think I was at Chelsea the last time, but I'll go through this quickly. And by the way, I did see the information on the ex-Phoenix Academy player. You notice I don't call certain names on my channel. And that he wasn't in the squad. He wasn't on the injured list. So I have no idea what was happening there. And that's the youngster from Jamaica who's not at Chelsea. I saw something come out today saw Chelsea preseason squad. He wasn't in the squad, so not sure what's happening there. Not sure if he's going on alone or whatever it was. Shushen, bless up. Thanks for joining. Hey, Anthony, I thought the U.S. played well in the first half, but France just wore them down. Look, U.S. is going to be good people. I'm telling you the truth. You watch U.S. play, at least they can make passes and they can move the ball around. And when I get to Jamaica, we'll talk a little bit about the under-20 because I did watch it for Jamaica. I'm going to do this for us, actually, as a country when it comes to our football. No, but they were decent. They were decent. France was the better team at some point. But in the first half, I think U.S. held their own and had chances, by the way, especially coming from left to right. Ball switch from the right side of the field to the left side. But, you got to put your chances away and then play defense. So, boy, I can't stop you start. Why? I don't. Ricardo, we're stuck in sports, Ricardo. If you want to talk politics, go over to Balanced Views. Go to the Balanced View channel. That's where we talk politics, okay? Yeah, I thought U.S. were good, actually. I thought for really, I agree with you. I thought they were good. But at the end of the day, they need to, first of all, you gotta put away your chances when you get them. Right? I see Nuva Entertainment just made a comment on the Balanced View channel. See people, I'm multitasking here. So he has the link. He knows where it is. Yes, please subscribe. People. Go over there and subscribe to Balanced Views, where we're going to talk about everything. Immigration, investments. In fact, I was just talking to a friend of mine today about investments. Bunch of different stuff. So go there, people. It takes some time to get it off the ground and get it up and running, but it will only make progress with your help. But back to transfer dealings. So this is Chelsea. I won't go through every single one. I plan to go to like the top 8 or so, but this is Chelsea. Dewsbury Hall, who I think is a decent player, but I'm not sure why they spend so much money for him. 35 million euros is a lot for Dewsbury Hall. Good player. We'll see how it works out. But if you look through their list here, they spend a decent amount of money. I had another list with net spend and gross spend. I think Villa spend the most money. I think they spend about 171 million pounds. They've brought in about 122 because Diaby brought in a lot. They spent a lot for Onana coming in and a lot for Diaby, get a lot for Diaby going out. So they spent a lot of money actually. Villa had quite a lot of player movement. I think part of what they're trying to do is what Arsenal suffered from last year. Is trying to have good competition for places, but just as important to have a big squad so they can compete across all fronts. Because when you play in Champions League and you're trying to challenge the EPL, you have to have competition for places because you can't play an inferior team in the Champions League. You're going to get booted out. And the Premier League, as we know, is going to be even tougher this year. So, yeah, should be interesting. Now, it's 2 words, Ricardo. It's 2 words. Balanced, so past tense, balanced, and views. And by the way, I'm not Kranky in that channel. I have another name. Mr. Balance is my name on that channel. It was Mr. Uncensored, but I had to change it because Uncensored is not working. So it's not Kranky. Bless up Eco, bless up Tycoon. It's not Kranky in that channel, people. It's another name. So this is the Chelsea list. Tell me if you guys can see it. I talked about that the other day. So I'm going to spend a lot of time here. The last time we spoke. You can see Maatsen going out for good money, Lewis Hall for good money, and Omari Hutchinson, who, as I mentioned in my last telecast, I expect to be in the Jamaica squad come September. So we'll see if that materializes. 20-something million euros for him. Decent money, actually, for somebody who was in the Arsenal Academy, left on a free. Arsenal may got money for his development. Went to Chelsea, went to Ipswich on loan, and now is Ipswich. But Ipswich must like him really well because obviously they spent £23 million for him. He says his market value was €7 million, which is interesting. You see, so the question is Chelsea now, unlike Arsenal, selling people for more than the market value, right? So you see each Maatsen, Hall, and Hutchinson, each of them went for in excess of what the supposed market value was, which is interesting. I mean, they gave away Ziyech, who they paid about 30-something million for, I think, when he came from Holland. And obviously Silva was past his prime, so he went back to Brazil. So if you notice here, Chelsea income they got from all this is 101 million. And then they spent 88 million. So they're net positive. They may also sell Gallagher. We'll see if that works out because I think Gallagher is pure profits because Academy product, they sell him. And they have to make sure they comply with FFP. So that should be interesting. No, Eco. You remember last time Rudolph was on my channel and he said that we're going to be impressed with the coach they're going to select and we're going to be happy. I want to use the right word. Let me just say this, people. If the person ain't Spanish, I'm not happy. And that may sound ridiculous on my part, but there's bigger fish. There's just as big fish to fry at the World Cup as we need in parts of the football. So, no. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's at Man U, I thought he did okay. He's not the answer. So we're going to that, people, because I'm going to call out those names. We're going to that, people. We're not going to talk about that now. Let me do the transfers, and then we can talk. Because we know, say, I don't stay now. Well, time we start talking Jamaica football the evening over for any other topic. So let me just run through this a little bit first. This is the prelude to the main event, right? Crystal Palace, who did really well the back end of last year, really, really well. Olise went to Bayern Munich for good money, about 60 mil. If I was Arsenal, I'd pursue Eze. So see, they spent what? 15 mil. They're gonna spend more money. And they took in 53. Eze went for 53. I thought he went for about 60. 53 euros. I thought he had a buyout for more than that, actually, which is interesting. But he went to Bayern. And they let a couple of people go when they have a loan came in. So they have 38 million. You see, they have income 53, spend 15, so 38 million net profit. They're going to spend some money. I know they were interested in Ketia and some other players, and Smith Rowe also, ESR also, Smith Rowe. So they must have some money to spend. They have some American owners who's helping Parrish, who's the owner. So we'll see how that goes. Yes, Daniel, it's balanced, not balanced, D after the E. So balanced views. And it's 2 words, actually. As I go further in the program, I'll drop it in the link at some point if I can find it myself. Because as I said today, I was struggling. Bless up float. I was struggling today really, really hard because I messed up on the channel and I deleted everything, every single thing. So I had to redo the entire thing, even though I had done two episodes before and an introduction. So it wasn't one of my better days. Thanks for joining Float. People are gonna come in, just do the normal thing. 89 and 62 don't work. People, I'm looking at my iPad now because to see the numbers, because we track the numbers as if our life depends on it. So 89 and 62 are not aligned. So only about 1/3 of you have hit the like button. It's supposed to be more than 100% because people come and go. So this is the Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace need to make sure that they replace these players because when Elise was injured, they had a tough time. Now Mateta is playing really well back in the season. I'm not sure they can keep Eze though. I heard City snooping around Eze. I know we like Arsenal, like Eze. When I say we, Arsenal. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, Float. It's called Balanced Views. You know what? I'm gonna try to find it and drop it in the link. Yeah, it's a new channel that I started talking about. I just call it talking about life, actually. So a new channel I started, and we have had 2 episodes so far, but I hadn't done the best job of publicizing it, so I'm not utilize this channel to do so. But if Eze leaves and you don't replace him, it's going to be a challenge for them. So now we go to Everton, who have made some money, right? They have spent what, 18, 10, 28 million out the door. And they have taken in 83 million. Well, they need to be, because you know that last year they got points deducted twice for exceeding their FFP requirements. And the deal they were having with the new organization was supposed to be buying the club fell through. If I had money, I'd probably buy Everton, frankly, because them building the stadium and giving the appreciation you're going to have in Premier League team wouldn't be a bad acquisition at all. And a good club with good fan base. I think the seating is supposed to be over 60,000. So you can imagine the match day receipts, they could be like Tottenham. Because I'm sure it's going to be a multi-purpose stadium, not just for football. So it won't be a good buy. I'm sure some private equity firm will, in the US or someplace else, will buy it. Surprised we don't have any Chinese owners, even there's a lot of more restriction in China who have come in and try to purchase them. Are not a Middle East owner, because the Middle East seem to just have money. I think they just print money in the Middle East. They just have a machine, they just print it, and they just spend it. But Onana is what, 59 million euros? Arsenal were talking about Onana at one point, but they didn't go that route. So interesting that they didn't. Anything here of interest? Ben Godfrey, who's Jamaican heritage. At one time we were pursuing him. And you know, people that they have it linked here, so you can see right here, they have the Jamaican flag here. They try to show you where the person, what their citizenship is and ancestry is here, which I think is pretty good. So you can see here that Godfrey, Jamaican heritage. Not sure if we're going to pursue him though. I know he had he may have had one cap for England and got called up once, but I don't think he's at the point where he is fully capped as yet. So maybe he plays center back. He can also play right back. I thought he had a tough season last year. No, at Atalanta, and he went for 12 million euros, above his supposed market value. So if you look at all this, Everton has done well. They probably need to do more spending if they want to stay in the Premier League, because I'm sure Leicester, which is doing a lot of buying, just came up from the Championship, will have something to say about who stays up. And frankly, it's surprising that Leicester went down the last time. But someone's going to vote for him. Vote for him for what? Spanish Town? What do you mean Spanish Town? Why should we vote for him? He's running the U.S. election? I didn't know he was a politician. This is Fulham, people. You see they have here? No money spent coming in, right? They had some people out on loan, so they I'm surprised they had Vinicius out on loan. I thought he was decent when he was with them. I know they brought in a few forwards, but so they have zero expenditure out, but they brought in some money. They sold Palina to Bayern for over 50 million. Bayern that came in for him, I think was it last January, and they made a smart decision not to let him go. I think he was going to be about 60 then, so they probably got a little bit less than thought, but bless up Estechnik. But good deal for Fulham now. And Bobby Reed, as you know, was at Fulham. He's now at Leicester on a free transfer. So 51 mil that Fulham brought in, they'll need to spend some money. This has been a very strange transfer window, people, because of the Euros and because of Copa America, transfer business was stalled, actually, right? Arsenal only did one main transfer. They had people go in and out, loans, and people's contract expire. But Ricardo Calafiori was the only name you hear a lot with them that's been, and that deal is taking forever for different reasons. But Villa did a ton of business. Chelsea always does business because they have 101 people out on loan all the time. So, but yeah, interesting times. I'm gonna stop at Ipswich after this because I promised to do half an hour of this. I'm gonna extend this out as we go to transfer period for and just talk about this like every time I do a session and just do 4 or 5 teams. It's only 20 teams anyway. So if you do 4 or 5 any one given time, it's only like 4 shows anyway. So you can see Ipswich brought in Amari for over 20 mil. Amari is their biggest purchase today. Jacob Greaves for 21, Delap for 17, and Murik for almost 10 million. So they spent 72 mil, and they only take in 1.65, which is not good. And that's the problem when you're in the championship, even though you have that. They don't have the parachute money like a Southampton and a Leeds had, right? Who went down, and Leicester had. So you can spend money and come back up. They weren't expected actually to be where they are. So it's going to be tough. They'll get some money from the Premier League. The question is, wages going to go up. They need to get new players. They haven't really bought much. 72 mil may seem like a lot, but it's not. Hutchinson was with them last year. They probably should negotiate the price a little bit lower. Probably should have gotten Hutchinson for about 18 versus 23. His market value was 7. They really want him. They really value him. But I would have negotiated a lower fee if I were them. Not sure why they did that. Yeah, that's Chelsea. I think he's gonna go on loan too, right? I think he's a defender. He's going on loan, is my understanding. All right, Paris County, you can call in. I think the phone is set. Let's hear the topic you want to talk about. Who's CONCACAF Player of the Decade? Who are you talking about? Spanish Town? Yeah, CC, it's a big jump. And when you do that, CC, you spend money. And you're not really getting the money in. So it's kind of interesting. Say before the game, the kid who was £11 million went to Strasbourg. So yeah, I mean, he must be pretty highly rated. I think the US is producing a lot of good kids, by the way. A lot of good kids. The US is separating itself in this region. At some point, they may be the better team by a good margin the way things are going. The Caribbean is regressing. Mexico is stagnant. Canada is improving. Costa Rica is always going to be there doing okay, and Panama. But I think the U.S., given their resources, given their investments, given how they can attract players, are going to be hard to derail in the region. I mean, they have won the under 20, 3 years in a row, and they look like they're going to win it again. And that's where a lot of the players are going to come from, who are going to go into the national team. So, yeah. Bless up, John Powell. Thanks for joining. It's going to be interesting, people, to see how that goes. Paris Council, call in because I'm going to jump to why I think we should get let me take this off the screen. We'll do after we finish. We'll do people Leicester the next time we join up. I'm gonna go to why I think we should get a Spanish coach. Actually, I think this is Paris Council. 1 second, Paris Council. Somehow you're not connected, and I think I took you off by mistake. Paris Council, please call back. I was trying to connect you up here. I'm not sure what happened. Are you there? Hello? I think I lost him. Hey, Parish Council, please call back. I'm not sure what happened here. I tried to connect you, but it you got disconnected. Oh, you're back. Uh, hello? Hello? Who am I speaking to? I can't hear you. 1 second. All right, go ahead. I should be able to hear you now. I can
You
hear you.
hear me now?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
All right, blessings, man.
Blessings.
So it's a sport related issue, right?
Okay. You said
Locally,
related. You said related, so it can be pure sports then if you say it's related. But go ahead.
yeah, man. And it's a local issue, but I think it is more of a personal issue on my side that I felt I needed to bring it to the public, right?
Okay.
Now, in Jamaica, we have a serious issue as it relates to underage children consuming alcohol, right?
Okay.
I would say substance abuse. Seriously, as it relates to substance abuse. And I've seen the Jamaican Premier League benefiting from the sponsorship of Ray and Nephew, right? They are. I would honestly say that they are doing a good job in supporting the local football, but at the same time, when I look across the globe, when I look at sponsorship, the highest brand that you will see sponsor of football or sporting events are brewing companies, beer companies. Because at the end of the day, if someone were to consume a beer, you look for 6% alcohol and as high as maybe 11% alcohol. Now we have Ray and Nephew as our main sponsorship, right? Our main sponsorship. I think Ray and Nephew is in excess of 40% alcohol. And one of the reasons why it bothered me is because I was watching the game and you have social media, the TikTok, the Instagram and whatnot, and people, friends of mine, and I have them kids and things, with them they are mad thing. And there was a high consumption of Ray and Nephew because Ray and Nephew has decided to not branch off into any other form of alcoholic beverages. Them only brand is the rum. And I'm saying I hope the Jamaican Premier League see it fit to at some point consider. I heard that they're bringing Powerade on board, and I'm saying that is a good look because where it stand right now in the Kranky is that this rum is also being promoted while the football is being promoted. If you get to me,
right?
And you have a lot of kids because the sport football promote and bring kids as well as adults, but a lot of kids into the venue, into the games, and this brand Ray and Nephew is being embedded in their minds. And the only thing that Ray and Nephew provides is alcohol. And not just any alcohol, but a high volume alcohol, where it can even be detrimental to one's health. So when I look on it, I say to myself, and I'm not sure if you could get some, because the other day, Chris Williams was on Ryan's show, and I'm supposed to call him, but the day I work, and I wanted to ask him that question: do you guys take any responsibility? Wow, you talk about artists must take responsibility for influencing youth. You understand me? I say when the kids come to these games, I personally see there is no ID requirement. The rum just a sell across the board. And yes, for one, and them a support the local football. But they're not supporting local football by selling energy drink,
Right.
or you understand, our water. Them literally sell them rum in the stadium, and the issue that we have right now with our youth Even the same youth them when you see a play football in a Kranky. Man, them on the ground can tell you, whole heap of time the ball of them, we have to beg the ball of them to put on certain things, Because we see little potential in them, and a man I say, brother, Lord, the rum and the boom, that'll kill you.
Right.
You get what I say?
Yeah.
Because that has become the national drink right now. Remember, say, as a youth, I come up in a high school, the biggest thing I remember I drink was Guinness, and then we thank be to God, we did have Zion roots, and we did have Baba roots. When me I go to school, that was our main drink, as we say we are the big man things, so to speak. Or you drink a one Guinness. You understand? So we just look on it to say the branded, the organizers of the competition must seek sponsorship, but they must also consider what negative impact it might have, not only on the sport or the brand or the support, but on the patrons who also come to support mainly the youths them. Approach Red Stripe, maybe approach because alcohol companies can sponsor sporting events, But as far as I see, it is always brewing companies with a lower level of volume in alcohol. You understand? So
Right.
it to me is a major issue. And I think a lot of people just look for it to say, boy, we get a sponsor, so call it what it may. But for me, it's a major issue. And I do say a lot of kids consuming rum, not just the alcohol, rum in the match then. Young youth, 14, 15, 16. You get what I say? So that was just my little 2 cents. And I just feel like I need to put it on the platform and I'm going to say it on other shows too. Because it is something that we need to consider. We can't just think about big man alone. We have to think about the youth them too.
So Paris Counts, you know that's very complex, right? It seemed very easy on the surface, but you're actually a very profitable company who has had this brand for ever since I can remember, that has really done well, is trying to promote their product. And if you try and put restriction on them, then where do you stop? Where should they promote the product?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Secondly,
so
once again, Paris Council.
Yeah.
Secondly, if you look at, for example, say Heineken or the betting companies in the UK, and it's a big thing in the UK. Look at Ivan Toney from Brentford, banned for like 8 months for gambling.
Yeah.
When the betting companies are permeate the environment in the UK, right? Always on the radio, talk sports, everywhere you go, you talk about betting. It's like innate to the environment you're operating in. So it's hypocritical of the EPL, actually, the way they operate with the betting company. And it's very difficult to say, well, Ray and Nevy shouldn't be given the ability to promote their brand through sponsorship. Here's the question, though. So it's a much more social question, which is, where are the parents? Where's the responsibility of the individual?
Parents give their kids $1,500 and tell them, say, for you $1,000, buy a ticket because you're going to a game that they have trust and faith that the organizers of these events are going to protect their children. So
but stop the Paris Council.
Give me my money.
Yeah.
Send me a match.
But Paris Council, I'm gonna stop you right there. If you're gonna buy alcohol in most environments, I know you have to have ID. Now, people can circumvent the process by getting fake IDs, or they can have an adult buy it for them, which is the response of the adult. But if you're in a stadium going to buy alcohol, the first thing they should ask you for, are you old enough to buy the alcohol? And show me ID. So isn't that a mechanism?
Yeah, but wouldn't that fall under the responsibility
of the JPL and their sponsors? Yes, the person. Yes. Yeah. It should. They should not be sending alcohol there to people just based on perception, meaning optics, that they're not at the right age.
Personally, all right. What may I say to Kranky? It goes beyond just the game itself, because as you know, when you're promoting a brand, you get into the psyche of consumers and potential consumers.
Right.
You understand what I say? So even offside, even not being into a game, because Ray and Nevy is so much into the minds of some of these youth, and as say we already have an issue, because if a lot of man can tell you when they're on the ground and surf for the block them. A lot of youngsters. Sometimes we have to beg you them and say, brother, you know, I get no picnic if you continue saying because when we the younger money Kranky rum and why me I stress on the rum is because of the as me say if a man did a drink a beer, you don't know as a little youth your father give you a one beer for drink or a half a beer or a taste of your mouth with a little beer. It's not so detrimental because a beer have a low alcohol value. But when you talk about the rum now, for even I consider say a youth might possibly see this brand and take it on after the game because that is the aim of Real Nephew, you know. The aim of Real Nephew to sponsor this is because people are coming, patrons are participating and they want them to buy their products. And the only product that Real Nephew sell is rum. It's not a brand we sell shirt and sell water and sell energy drinks. So you can say, boy, me nah just promote the rum. Me I promote other products. Say it down to the person to decide which product they want to buy.
Right.
It is a company that only issue one line of product. And as me say, it conflicting to me because I congratulated them or may I big them up to support what them get to the local football. I really appreciate it. But thinking on it now as a parent, my biggest son of 14, right? Thinking of it as a parent, as a man who start sending youth out there unsupervised because he might reach a certain age that he want to match to one two grand. But I'm match their friend them. You know want to know the thought might be because Real Nephew, girl in a short, girl in a this, everybody I promote Real Nephew. I hit around the place. He have two look older friend who are maybe 18 and them a drink Real Nephew and then two look my son turn rum head. And then it will come down for me as a parent, you know. To say me feel my youth, you know, but the environment we send him into. So me I say to the organizers, can they look to get a power aid or at least a red stripe or a company that this is the main sponsor. It's not a sub-sponsor, you know. This is the biggest sponsor that the Premier League currently have is Ray and Nephew.
So Parish Council, here's a question for you. So you're gonna ask Sportsmax and TVJ and CVM not to promote this brand on their program?
Not at a sporting event, which is fair to say that we are trying to.
No, but think about this. You don't only buy alcohol at a sporting event. Do you buy it anywhere that it's allowed to be sold?
Well, you can them a keep a dance.
No, but I'm saying anybody can go and buy. You can buy the alcohol where they have liquor stores, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy the alcohol in a liquor store. So here's the question. Here's the question, though: is look, I don't disagree with the concept that you're proposing, which is people.
It's just complex. It's complex.
Yes, it's very complex to try to fix.
No.
It was almost like you're saying, you know what, JPL, we're going to restrict JPL, but everybody else can do it. Who's allowed to do it? Is that fair to the JPL? So I'm going to play contrarian here. Is that fair to the JPL?
Well, it is a responsibility that they have to take, you know, Kranky, because as we say, a lot of youth, this is not an adult event, you know.
I understand.
Sports, track and field, football, cricket, all of these things are events where people either carry their kids or send their kids. You understand what I mean? I say, and a lot of like Mount Pleasant to have a youth team where they're responsible for youths. I don't believe that the main sponsor should be a alcoholic company that is so high in volume. Notice how I always stress on that, you know.
Right. Because
a beer different from NEC, you know. You understand what I mean? I say, so yes, it is complex, but I believe as Owen Hill and Chris Williams, as big men with children, responsible men, and all of the big people in the organization should look at it and can at least consider if we are putting our younger youth at risk by having this brand, which is beneficial to us as a league, but what effect will it have on our youths coming up, or potential footballers where are rum? I don't want to call the baller name, but a lot of them, a lot of men know the specific baller where are alcohol are the main detriment to him talent you to win Premier League. You understand what I say? And yeah, man can say him decide to do it, fine. But now that to have a youth them in this setting, are we going to promote, assist, or basically lead them into the part of alcohol consumption? Or are we going to try and be responsible adults? And
So,
say,
so
boy,
Paris Council, here's what I would
maybe
say. Paris Council, here's what I say. I think I agree with you in terms of the question should be more posed to Chris. I know you're trying to promote promote discussion around the question, which is really good on your part to say, look, people, this is a consideration. It's a matter we should contemplate because it's having a detrimental effect on the society and the young kids, and it's something we should consider. I would say a couple of things. One is the question should be posed to Chris and see what Mr. I call him Mr. Quota man or no quotas. He doesn't want he doesn't want any overseas footballer. But I think he should be asked the question, which is your main sponsor is a alcoholic beverage company. There are kids in your environment. We're going to enjoy the football. Kids are impressionable and therefore may want to consume alcohol. What are you doing to make sure this is not the case in your environment? And can't you get other sponsors apart from just that main sponsor? Because from optically and otherwise, it doesn't seem to be the right approach to take. I think the question should be asked of him and he was responses. I'd be curious. He may say, for his league to grow, he can't be choosy about who sponsors the league. And there's not a volume of sponsors coming out with the resources of a Ray Neville. Because when you have products like what Ray Neville has, you're going to pay more because society may not necessarily embrace the product, right? You're going to pay more because of what you are and what you do. But you can afford to pay more because you make a lot of money.
Yeah. And it did say power here. That's why when he said that, we make for car, but as we said with the cart up, he did say power here was coming on board. I'm not sure if it was just for refreshments for the players, when the physio come on the field to check on an injured player. If we are gonna see a power here buckle and the youth them are drink power here, I wasn't sure to the extent that sponsorship. But when I hear that, I kind of feel a little bit better in myself to say maybe it is something that they are actually thinking about to bring on some Gatorade, some Lucas, the sponsorship. Because look on Manning Cup or Boy and Girls Champs. People would be outraged if Ray never did a sponsor them event there. Why? Because kids are there.
So here's a question for you. Here's a question for you, caller. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Here's a question for you. So if Pepsi was sponsoring it, would you support that?
If Pepsi that support is more that support Pepsi.
You think Pepsi is more healthy than
the sugar?
Yeah, you think the sugar is more healthy than you see where I'm going, right? See where I'm going. But we all accept the sugar, right? And we all grew up on the sugar with sugar bun and bun and bread and all that stuff.
I'm not sure if Pepsi lead to Pepsi lead to all type of health issues, but maybe not addiction, like the alcohol.
No. I don't agree with the addiction part. Most of us are addicted to sugar.
Sugar addictive, but when we talk about driving and that is thing there, I'm on a youths not drive, but the whole idea of it. And even if we look on the international stage, mostly beer, and we continue to stress on that we not say alcohol not allowed in sporting events. But I've never seen Hennessy or Appleton or any of these other strong alcoholic companies sponsoring sporting events.
Right.
And I believe there must be some reason behind it because of the responsibility. Now, what if someone were highly intoxicated because of consumption and met in an unfortunate situation, motor vehicle situation afterwards? Look on shared responsibility right there. You get what I say? You want to make sure so when the patrons them enter an event, them safe, and as me say, most important for me, and it's based on what I saw on social media. Them a beat the Roman book in a match and Ray and me I say, Janu, is this the part that we want to take? And these are our future footballers. And I am telling you, Kranky, that we have current players, youth players who are consuming these beverages. And the fact that we are push it to the extent, we just think it is something worth looking into. And that was just my take. Sometimes we deal with the JFF, whatever. So I look on it, maybe it's a different topic that we can introduce in the football space, in our little space that we share. We don't have to talk about the same thing every day, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you want to talk about more stuff, Parish Council, come join me on Balanced Views. So you want to talk about these sort of societal type issues, much more fit into the Balanced Views discussion, because there's no limitation on topics being discussed.
Definitely. And me always try to tie things to sports, you know. So even if me ever bring up a topic, me still have to try some way, shape, and form, because sports is like a social thing too, you know.
Yeah.
They really think about it, you know. You get what I say? So I'm a man said me want life. So the way in which you conduct yourself in life is the way in which you conduct yourself on the pitch. He was an aggressive type of baller. I used to get no red card and him thing there. So
you were like an Agla type, Billy Perkins type, Agla type baller? Is that what you were? Just break foot?
Not an aggressive tackler, but more of somebody who just respond aggressively on the field, or cuss out a referee, or cuss out a teammate, or pick an argument to the opponent. I was more of a problematic type of player when me I play ball. You understand?
Okay.
And years ago, him said that to me. He said the way in which you conduct yourself in life, the way in which you conduct yourself on the pitch. And moments after that, me tend to kind of just change my whole approach. You understand? So everything tie in a football, sports overall tie into life itself. You get to me?
So people on my channel, I'm gonna say this person on my channel, I'm gonna talk about the whole parental construct in Jamaica and how that works actually, and the implications for the society, inclusive of what you're talking about. Because this is just a symptom.
And the implication on sports. You see, the implication we have on sports.
Yeah. It can tie back to sports, yes.
Even in the educational aspect of it, or youth them learn the difficulty that they have in learning, and it's the same thing them transition into on the pitch. When a coach like Unseen or whosoever man I try to instill something in the youth them, it is just difficult to comprehend because of the way in which we learn. You understand what I say?
Right.
But to kind of stay upon point, I love the next time Chris Williams come up on a show, I love if somebody can at least look into it. We're all adults on this platform who don't have youth yet, aspire to get youth, who have youth, some man a grandfather, some man a godfather, some man a stepfather. The whole way have youth around. You get me? I say so.
What's a glad father? What's a glad father?
Godfather, Mr. Man. Godfather.
Oh, Godfather. They said Gladfather.
Godfather.
Oh, so yes, G-O-D, not G-L-A-D. Okay.
No, Godfather. Yeah, but we have a tendency, Kranky. All right. What did Chris Williams say? 30 years before we go World Cup. And you upset, and next man upset. You know, the first thing a man say, me not live to see that. So it tell me, say, we really live for ourselves.
No, Paris Council. No, Paris Council. Back up, Paris Council. Back up. No, back up.
What if a man did a look and say, all right, me not gonna see it, but my grand pick me gonna see it. You wouldn't feel good.
No. Paris Council. Paris Council, you gone way left field. Paris Council, you gone way left field. When people talk about these things about wait, listen, this is Paris Council. This for a second now. We need to think about climate change, right? In terms of you driving a gas vehicle to satisfy yourself today versus maybe a vehicle which is better climate for the climate. That's a different discussion than a World Cup. And if Chris can substantiate that, you know what? We will not only make one World Cup, we'll make World Cup after World Cup after World Cup. People may think about it. They may not want to still buy it. But what Chris is saying is nonsense. Sorry, nonsense. I'm gonna use the word nonsense. It's not even something to discuss. He hasn't come with wait a minute, Paris Council. He has come with a comprehensive plan to say, here is my blueprint. Here's my plan as to how this is gonna work. Where's this plan? Where's this blueprint? Nothing. Just run your mouth and say, you know what? We don't want any overseas born players who are citizens, by the way.
Personally, I did not listen to all of the interview. It was just that subtitle me see I run on YouTube. You understand?
30 years.
Not because what me I say is Kranky, not because we are adults and we drink a little liquor and we are right. That means that we now have a think about youths them and that me just try to tie the two together. To say if a man say wait for something for 30 years, don't just think about yourself. think about the youth them when a born yet. Think about the youth them we gonna grow up to reap the benefits, even if you not gonna reap it. I get what I say?
Yeah,
and
man,
I see everything
I
the sponsor
understand.
them need to think about to the organizer them to JFL need to think about as well. That's how we are reap immediate success right now. What negative impact will it have on our youth? Have to think about that, and if we not think about that, we not gonna rise as a nation.
I agree. I agree to some
So,
extent, but not with the 30 years for the football. I agree with the concept. Look, it's the same discussion here being held in the States about gun and gun control, which is the NRA and the gun manufacturers are making a lot of money. The entire region suffers because of it. Trinidad, Jamaica, Haiti, South America, America itself suffers because some people are making profit off guns, right? But you can't equate that with football and saying, Parish Council, why don't you're not going to see us go to World Cup before you die, but it's a good thing. The other kids going to see it, and you have no way to say that's going to work. None. It's not logical. Come on, Parish Council, you know better than that. It's not logical. That analogy, you should take back that analogy. Take back that analogy. Take back that example.
Let me put context to it. I'm not sure if me put context to it, but from a money 30 years it come like if me as lock up. So maybe the man give all him plan to the 30 years that we never bother want to hear, because when we hear about the 30 years, the man say, no, sir, me can't wait for that.
So
right
Parish Council, have people really, Parish Council, take a step back, Parish Council. May I have a call you up on this, Parish Council. Have you really thought through this? A 30-year plan to get to the World Cup when we can see it around the corner. Why would I wait 30 years? You can do things you can do things simultaneously in Parish Council. It's not mutually exclusive now.
Yeah.
You can go to World Cup now at the same time, build a sustainable program to allow you to go to World Cup after World Cup after World Cup. This 30-year thing, it sounds good to some people.
All right,
you say the man was drinking Rare Navy. No, at Parish Council, he was drinking Rare Navy when he said that. That's what happened.
Yeah, me Richard, that's why I think about it. When me Richard the analogy, it come like what day when Damien Crawford say, boy, put must 1% or must 2% on the tax towards education. And the people them nearly kill him, nearly cut off him locks. All people distance themselves from the argument. Why? Because that's more money out of your pocket. But remember what the man say, more the money for education. And we see the youth them kind of struggle right now. So for adults, we as big grown people look to a man and say, brother, madness here I'm not paying 2% for education. It's sure we say we kind of just think about we today and maybe tomorrow.
That's a better analogy. It's a better example.
Yeah,
much better
so
example.
Richard, the 30-year plan.
I would pay more taxes if it's going to help education. That's my philosophy. I would pay more taxes when it help education.
Kranky, the man lay out every single step of the way how it gonna work, and the people, even him own party, disassociate themselves from the statement we make.
You know why? You know why?
And then associate with it. None of the guy in a political.
No, because in part, when you say taxes, taxes means less vote. That's why some people here, especially some people who are black, want to vote for Trump because they tell me they're going to keep more money in their pockets. And I look at them and saying, you're voting for the devil. But anyway, we won't get into that here. There's some balanced views to talk about Trump.
Yeah. But it's short-sightedness. So I just try to look and I say, all right, maybe Chris Williams did over-exaggerate his argument. But I think that is what he was trying to say. People, stop looking at today and maybe look at next 5 years. Somehow we are plan too short. Somehow we plan just tomorrow. Somehow we not plan for 2028 because a man say, boy, me have to do this today, I have to do that tomorrow, or mountain, me have to do this. So screw 2028, in a business man, them time there. You know what I mean? And if you come back with the under 20, you say, I tie everything in a sports, you come back with the under 20, boy, we can't spend 2 weeks in Mexico because see the embarrassment we are going to come get against USA, the 9-0. We never think about that. We just see that think about the money at the time. We say we not send our youth them, which me not say that me could get 9, But me just show you futuristic plans not putting in place. And we always think short term, very short sighted. We not see further than up the road.
Right.
And it affect everything, and most important, if we as lovers of sports, it affecting with sports. And me I tell you, Kranky, God bless with God given talent, but if the man is not careful, we see over a track and field with boast and beat the chest till we have asthma. Man, them have to be careful, brother. Careful. Because our God given talent make us see we have strived so much years, you know. To this day, Jamaica can't host one Diamond League. No proper tour, no proper meet. In the world, Jamaica can't host. To this day, we don't see a proper poor infrastructure to say, boy, help develop the talent. After achieving so much across the board, the track and field. Why? Oh, we still get the next ball. So we get the next Asafa. So we get the next Shelly. And me I tell the people them to careful. Notice all the Olympics are kind of just kind of way because people them not so excited. People them like they not feel the energy the area.
Now, I think the energy will come eventually. Normally, what happens is
no, sir.
You know what? No, because historically, the woman would be so. When we had Bolt, you had some surety. When you had Shelly Ann and Elaine, you had some surety. It's a little bit not as sure this year. We have some prospects, but nothing is sure. So it will dampen the excitement, but it will build up next week.
Yeah.
All right, Paris Combs. I appreciate the call, sir.
Yourself, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling. And I appreciate the topic, too. Thanks a lot. So, people, let me just say this. A couple of things. One is, first of all, I want to thank you for hitting the like button when you come in. Hopefully, hit the share and subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. So I don't have to beat up my gum talking about all the work I put in and not getting subscription. So thank you. I appreciate that. Secondly, I'm gonna jump into the football. I wish I was gonna jump into the football. Spanish coach. Good evening. Give me a second. I'm not sure why this is keep dropping off. Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, good evening, Kranky.
Good evening.
This is Wayne.
Wayne, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I want to speak about the under 20. At least Jamaica football. At least Jamaica football.
All right, go ahead. It's your platform to speak about the under 20.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Like I said this to you. I am a person listening to football over the years. You see, Jamaica football, Kranky, we are not a football culture. We are a track and field culture. It usually be cricket, more so track and field. Because in school, if you look at it carefully, in school, our sports day mostly based on track and field. Because we usually have a thing they call your house or wherever in the class and everybody run for their house and all of that. It's not like US or European country. We are definitely track and field. Lindy Denapella 30 years ago speak about this. You understand me? He speak about this and said, look, remember Lindy was with Skill Cole, those people.
Right.
More skilled than him and all of that. And Lindy was one of our greatest footballers because he leave and go England and develop. You understand me? We are so stubborn. Seymour's come here and set the platform and we move away from it because we, concerning our culture, we as Jamaican is more likely homophobic or we don't like foreigners away from receiving their money. You understand me? And you see this that guy a while ago call you. I understand what he's saying, but he's still beating around the bush. These guys, they are homophobic. They don't like foreigners. That is what we're in the sport. Right now, there's a I believe there's a riff or something going on in the JFF. Everybody not seeing eye to eye. Because look, there's some struggling going on if people can look. Because even all right, what happened to the under 20, is just to prove a point, Because I can tell you, one set of guys in that, it's just true they don't want to come to the public with it. One set of guys want the local people alone, and one set of guys want the mix.
So do you know who wants what? Who's in what side?
Is my suggestion. My suggestion, I would believe Speed want the mix. And a next set of guy
So
want,
someone in the chat says, because I want to make sure we're clear on this, you mean
mm,
not homophobic, which is sexuality. You mean xenophobia, which is mean
well,
you're against
how you
foreigners,
want to
right? You
call
mean
it.
against foreigners,
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes,
go ahead.
yes,
Just
yes,
want to make
yes.
clarity, people.
Yeah,
Clarity.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. One set of guys want the local and one set want the mix,
Right.
right? With what happened with the manager, the lady who, that is nonsense. They want it to happen and they get their way. The only thing about it, we're sorry for the young because they become, they in this thing. But saying that to say this, these people, it will not be better if they don't change their mindset. Because you cannot put up schoolboys against professional. And it known. I see management preach about this sometime, I believe last year. And they beat him and management changed his opinion. Because management usually tell us, say, look, because even when the coach just come to Jamaica, that's why they remove him. He speak about this. These guys cannot go up against professionals. And we continue to do it. We continue to do it. We continue to do it. When we change our ways, your mind is a very powerful thing, your mental slavery. And when we change our ways, it will be changed. You understand me? And more, because even with the senior team, it usually be like that in the senior team, but we cannot win anything, so we force have to go for the foreigners. It's going to change, but we have to go there and talk about it for the change to come. Because I can tell you, Kranky, these guys do not want, I call you sometime and I told about this, these guys do not want no foreign player around. You understand me? And I tell you, Kranky, I'm sorry for the little youths. Sorry for those youths playing for the country and humiliate themselves like that. They want to sell players. And you cannot put out bad product to sell people. Scout is not stupid. You understand me? You're gonna use the national team to sell players. Develop the footballers, the footballer. Develop them from their 9, 10 up to 14, and leave the national program alone. The national program should have zero local player if they don't ready. You understand me? If they're ready, you put them there. But you cannot use the national program to sell local players. The club develop players, not the national team. That's why we are so far behind the culture of football, because they don't realize US have a MLS football culture where they're far ahead of us, and they're looking at for a foreigner to play for their national team. Because they want the strongest of the strongest. Why we are going behind? So I'm saying, Kranky, they realize no, our local schoolboy players is not there. I am not a fan of Butler, but Butler preaching some things and he have his ways, but he's showing us a little map to get there. Although he have his ways, because I'm really not a fan of him, but he shows some map. You cannot use schoolboy footballers, right, to play against people who doing minutes. You understand me? 3 months for the year you play football, sometimes 2, based on how far you're going in the what call PE competition. And you want to put up those little guys against. That's why you see they go foreign and come back so fast, because they don't develop yet. In Clarendon, give me 1 more minute, Kranky. I'm from Clarendon. Michael Ricketts was the president at the time, right? In Clarendon FA. That when Burrell usually the president. We usually have a guy there then called Mr. Green. People from Clarendon can remember that guy. He was a white man, he died. That man go around Clarendon and Manchester with his car and pick up like 15. I don't know so much youngster was in his car, 15 to 18 or 20 young 12-year-olds, and bring them down a place they call West Park. From 8 to 7 up to 10, 12-year-old and have them. You have people like Fana Winston Griffiths. I don't know if you hear about those players. Shreddy Grants. Yeah. Those players. You have them from there's a lot of them. You have them from they are like 7, 8-year-old And people usually laugh at him. I said, this little white man in this town, this little. All of those little guys come up to be big prospect. You understand me? So, Kranky, the football starts from there. You understand? We cannot bypass that. You cannot have people, you're teaching them how to pass, how to control. Why we don't have midfield generals? Because we play the football a certain way, attacks up from defense to forward. So we don't have anybody learning the culture of the football starting from the midfield, how to pass, how to control, how to possess themselves and all that. Because the teaching is wrong. So until we get the culture of the football right, we have to employ. I hear you talking about this foolishness, but this coach from Man U. We don't want a coach like that. Because it's the same thing. This attack and the football will look ugly. We want somebody, we know it's Spanish coach right now, it might be, he need more time, but we want somebody who can, teach our own position of football, teach you how to possess the football. You understand? Don't haste the game. Control the game. Who control the game have a high percentage chance to win the game. You understand me? Not this pass on the ball, like the ball hot, you have to get rid of the ball early. We need people that know the game, teach the game to us. You understand? And we should get rid of this xenophobic or whatever phobic culture that is hurting us, Kranky. I hear you preach it a lot, and I want you to continue to preach it. And when people come on your program and try to beat around the bush, speak it, Kranky. Do not allow them to shun it away. That is our problem. I am a Jamaican, right? And I can tell you, Kranky, we do not like foreigners in a certain sense. You ever say we? That is a big problem on the land. Mm-hmm. And right now, all of us shame, no, Kranky. All of us shame to what happened to the youngsters because we realize it's we. It's not the JFF alone, We is the problem. We, Kranky, it's a culture problem, Kranky. So that's the only thing I want to left with the Kranky. So keep beating it and tell Manning's man, go back to what he was saying last year. Because they beat him and he kind of changed. I heard Manning's man speak about it. You cannot have schoolboy players play against professional. It cannot happen. It will never happen. Lenny did speak about this 30 years ago. And when this man that running the JPL come and speak about 30 years plan and foolishness.
All right,
those people, business people, they don't know nothing about football. Stay on the business side and leave the technical people to take care of the game.
All right, Wayne, I hear you, Wayne.
Yeah,
thanks for
man.
the call.
That is it. Yeah, Kranky.
All right, bless up.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, man. So people, that was Wayne, and he had some good points about the football and what we're doing or not doing. I think the under 20 has opened a lot of people's eyes, and he's right about this, which is when you hear them announce the players and when they played for the US team and when they played for Jamaica, you're just like, what are we talking about? We have a bunch of Manning Cup and Da Costa Cup All-Stars, and then they have players from Portugal and from Germany. And the phone's going to ring, Good evening, caller. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes.
Sir Kranky. What's up, man?
Good evening. How you doing?
Oh, my gosh. What kind of joke from these people? Man, actually must speak to. I'm 60-50, man.
I know it's 50-50, but my callers don't. Or my audience don't. My audience don't. So if I make assumption and not say who this is and not if you announce yourself, that's not right to them.
Sorry,
so 50-50, you have 5 minutes. I have to get through this thing when I want to talk about. You have 5 minutes. Listen, I'm at time you because you like talk long like me. So yeah, time you. Go ahead.
Right. You see, Kranky, I'm not advocate for nothing local at this moment in time, right?
Yeah.
I think it just doesn't make sense.
Wait, back up 50-50. Were you advocating for local prior?
No. But I'm strongly not advocating for anything local as it regards to coaching as well as players to an extent.
Okay.
The reason being, especially on the coaching aspect of things, if you look at countries across the region, right, that tend to do well at different levels. If you look at the qualification at different levels surrounding coaches. Some of them, they respectfully have the highest qualification compared to our coaches or our program where we're trying to get coaches qualified in order to invest back that knowledge into the football. You know what I'm saying? At this moment in time, it's a slow progress for us in terms of getting coaches qualified. I know that the JFF, they're trying to implement programs, etc., to get coaches qualified, especially at the grassroots level, which is one of the most important things in terms of the development of players. Because across the board, Kranky, both in the region, etc., and as well as across the waters, children at the grassroots level, they're far superseding our kids at grassroots level. So by the time these kids reaching their teenage years, etc., they are so far ahead of the pack compared to ours that when we reach in our teens, we're so far off the pace in terms of footballing education as well as the skill set in and of itself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is why you have players at that age in the teens. They're so close to first team football at different levels in different leagues because they're so good developing from such an early age. So in that aspect, as it regards to a coach for the Reggae Boyz team, I know that a lot of guys are saying local, Miguel Cole, whatever the case is. I know that Miguel Cole has his qualifications, but too much of a risk right now in terms of the World Cup and the cost to hire Miguel Cole. So that's the coaching aspect. In terms of the players now, I believe that we should select our best players, and I also believe that the best players are not locally, both for the youth teams as well as for the senior men's national team. Now, I'm not saying that a player like what's his name, the goalkeeper again, Jamali Wade. I'm not saying like a Jamali Wade isn't good enough because he will always have the exception to the rule that kind of supersedes everybody, and you can select them or whatever the case is. But at the senior level, I do not think majority of the local players that we have are good enough to be making the team. I know that in the recent World Cup qualifiers, we had a tricky situation in terms of suspension, etc. That's a bit different. But when you look at the youth level, in terms of implementing quota systems, etc., it's not helping the football. You know what I'm saying? I think we need to select our best until we get to a level where our own local players are at that level compared to the ones that we're bringing in from overseas, and then you can have healthy competition and you can say, okay, this is the pool of players and we can have a fair selection. You know what I'm saying? But the selection right now is not fair when you have on one side you're selecting quality players, but on the next side, because of the quota system, those players that you're selecting are not on the same level compared to the guys that's coming in. It's not going to help the football. It's not going to progress the football. You know what I'm saying?
No, I look. You hear me talk about this quite a bit on different forums, not only my own platform. I think the JFF need what I call a 3-tier plan, which I'll get into. A short-term, medium-term, and long-term plan to address the situation. The under-20 seem to have opened people's eyes. I'm not sure why. It was always there. It just didn't manifest itself in a given game situation. So I'm not sure why we seem to have gotten religion because of how they perform or didn't perform. Somebody decided that they were good enough to compete, so they sent them there. Poor kids.
Yeah. And, it's just evident, it's something that has always been evident, but, when the leaders of the JFF come on public platforms, especially such as YouTube, and make remarks and say things such as we have some of the best youth teams or, we're successful in that aspect, whenever they go out there and play on the pitch, it's different, you know what I'm saying? And it baffles me when they say stuff like that on public platforms because these are things that they're not going to disappear. And the worst part about it, nobody's going to hold them accountable. I'm not saying anybody should be fired from their job or whatever the case is. I don't tend to go so far.
Why aren't you saying that? Why aren't you saying that?
Well,
the head of the Secret Service for the U.S., the president, the former president almost got assassinated. She had to resign. They forced her to resign. When Mexico if Mexico had that situation Jamaica had, coaches gone, a bunch of people are gone. Yeah, so I, as you're saying, I'm not an advocate for people losing their jobs, but when it's that awful, you got to make changes. Come on.
You see, when we just start into the working world, well, again, when I really make it in our life to try cast them things upon people who said they must lose their job or say, you get what I say? But
something has to change.
Yeah, something has to change. Which the best thing would be is to have a shake up. How the other say, have a shake up, move people around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I do not feel like the leader of the JFF is that strong enough to make some of those calls. You know what I'm saying? And I think I think where I want to see Jamaica football in the next like couple years is, for example, if we do qualify for the World Cup and we do relatively well, I think every other program should follow in that aspect in terms of we should see development across the board for those programs as well. You know what I'm saying? Because then you will have more money that you'll be receiving from FIFA for the mere fact that you qualified for the World Cup and participating as well, right? So that money must be invested properly at different levels, grassroots, coaching, education, etc., etc. So even by the next 5 years, and I guess that's where, like, as you say, you would get into like a 3-step plan. So you can further explain that later. But that's all I wanted to say.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, what's up?
That's up. So Ernest is saying, Kranky, this is how Jamaicans see and talk about us. Kranky, you are the boss because you are spend and send back. Go, Kranky, go ahead. You have not let off on this. I mean, I get them feedback, Ernest. I get them feedback. I'm not in that realm, actually. I get a lot of kudos for sending money back to Jamaica, so which I will always do while I have relatives there or if I support organizations there. So, people, I want to talk about the what I had in the thumbnail. This is my thumbnail, people, which I'm very proud of, by the way. I thought about it. I said, how do I present this? So you see there in the middle is some of the Spanish coaches. I made up one of them, by the way, the one with the sort of lax dread. And I couldn't find any midfielders to put on the thumbnail. I thought about this enough, people couldn't find good midfielders from Jamaica. So I put some other players on there. 2 of them locally developed, 1 overseas developed. And then to the left, people, which is more interesting from this. What do you notice from the left? I have, to the left, I have what? 7 and 6, 13. 13 players from the left. I'm sure you guys recognize these players. 13 players, 2 generations of players from the left, right? And you always hear me advocating for a Spanish coach. And the rationale for the Spanish coach is also manifested itself when you watch Dominican Republic play football, play possession football. A baseball country just really decided to invest in their football, being assisted by the Spanish. And you can see the difference in their game. By the way, they're at the Olympics now playing, holding their own, draw with Egypt today, right? I put this up for, and I thought about this before I put the thumbnail together. I have 13 midfielders in this thumbnail. All either world-class or will be world-class midfielders. You look up top, right? You look up top right here. You see Xavi there. You see Fabregas. You see Villa. You see my Arsenal brethren. What's his name? Slipping me now. Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets. Cazorla, I should say. I'm not sure why Cazorla's name is escaping me. Then I come down here, Olmo, Moreno. We have Pedri, Gavi, Zubamendi, Rodri. You look at that. There's a reason people are making the point here. They produce world-class midfielders. And nowadays, they go out and get some people with different DNAs playing on their wings who are Spanish citizens to inform that team and make themselves almost ridiculous to play against. Skill on the wings, control the middle of the park, control the ball. I can get in the defender I want. I'm going to run the show. And these are the people here who make it happen, these coaches here. So if you think about it, what don't we produce? Tell me one very good midfielder we produce that go to the Premier League. I can name some other players. I can name Ricardo Gardner as a defender. I can name Fuller. I can name Shelton. I can name a number of players. I can name even players who haven't played for Jamaica. Barnes, Linda De La Pena. I can name Sterling, Jamaican heritage. But none of them are truly midfielders, people. And this country produced them like you're pouring out water, which is free. This country, and I'll go through some of my rationale as to why I think, look, I heard Rudolph says, we'll be impressed, and I'll take this down. We will be impressed by the coach that they bring in. And all I hear about is Solskjaer. I hear about McLaren. I hear about Ince. I hear about York. I hear about Steve Bruce. Yeah, they all have names. Am I impressed? Frankly, I don't want to tell you how I feel about it, but impressed is not in the sentence. Nothing there is impressive, people. Nothing. Nothing about those names impressed me. Zero. Recycled coach is what I call them. Some don't have any jobs. Some are assistants. Good people, good resumes for some of them. That's not what Jamaica needs, people. When you bring in a national coach, and somebody's going to say, well, Kranky, because what Rudolph is saying is basically, we just want to get to the World Cup. When we get to the World Cup, which we all want, including, especially people like myself, who are getting more seasoned, we want to go to the World Cup and watch Jamaica playing. But what happens after the World Cup is finished? We're going to have the under-20 team that just played the other day, and those kids have been sent as like sacrificial lamb to the slaughter. And people want to blame some of those kids about what they didn't do or did do. The one player that played out there that looked halfway decent, who had a red card the last game, was Welch. He plays for Leyton Orient, people. Leyton Orient. Some people not even know what Leyton Orient is. Right? He was the best player for Jamaica team that I saw, at least in the first game against the US. Like he could do something. Those kids who play Manning Cup and the Costa Cup, and they're stars there, and some of them have potential. We even have players who play in the JPL there, which give you an idea what the JPL is, and they look way off the pace, people. I was counting, watching the second game, and I stopped midway second half. I couldn't take one sequence where we made 5 or 6 passes sequentially. Couldn't. Throughout the entire first half and early second half when I stopped watching, because it just got ridiculous. Because Costa Rica was just a much far better team. You couldn't point at one point in the game and say, you know what, we made 6 passes, even within our defense, because they were trying to put pressure on us. And for most teams, you can play the ball between the 2 center halves and then right or left back and get 5, 6 passes. We couldn't, which was amazing to me. And these are some of the kids who are playing JPL, frankly. So it shows you how far behind we are. And as the caller previous speaker said, as 50-50 or 433, he has a lot of names as. We hear from the Phoenix boss. We hear from Rudolph about how they take teams overseas and how they beat up Villa and they beat up this team, and Atletico were the same, and it's only when they reach 17 to 18 that they're better than us. You saw nothing that's supposed to get you to 15, 16 that says, you know what? We can hold our own. Nothing. And frankly, we're not more athletic than some of those teams we played. Some of them look more athletic than we are. So it's very frustrating to hear that narrative, and you're here thinking, what are we talking about? Why don't JFF put together a comprehensive plan, have some short-term goals like immediate qualification for the World Cup, but get somebody who can come in, who have a relationship in Spain. Look, Luis Fuentes, who won with Spain in the Euro, you know where he coached people? Come on, people, you guys know. Where did he coach before he got the Spain team? Did he coach Barca? Did he coach Valencia? Did he coach Girona? Did he coach Real Madrid? He spent his whole life coaching the lower leagues and for the junior national teams. And he won the Euro because Spain knows what they're doing. They have educated, informed coach. As we saw the other day when I showed it up, they have more pro-licensed coaches than any other country in the world by about 3-1, people. About 3-1. Amazing. And we're arguing about whether we should get a Spanish coach or not. And we have a coach who won the Euro who have no experience at the highest level, but they still leverage him because they know what he's doing. He's probably worked with a lot of those players in the junior teams. He knows his players. He knows their skill set. They have a footballing philosophy and they have a style of play, and it's proven that it's work. When you hear me asking Rudolph about what they have won the most Euros. They have won 3 of the last 5 Euros. They have won the World Cup for the males. They have won the World Cup for the women. World Cup 2010, Women 2023. The outcome and the results are not arguable. You can't argue them. They know how to teach the kids to play football, both the skill set in terms of the physicality and the mental aspect of the game to do so. So here's what I've written out about what a coach should have and what Spanish coach have that we need to leverage. And what I was hoping for, you go a Spanish coach, which is, look, coaches coach in windows, right? You only have the players for so much. Probably traveling or talk to the players, but you only have them for so much. That he'll be involved in Jamaica football, help to set the strategy about what Spain has done over the last number of years that we could leverage. And he may have contacts to help bring some of those. That's what I'm thinking. It's not just a one-shot deal to go take some quick money, get us to the World Cup, then go away. No, he's trying to get somebody more long-term. Sometimes international coaches have short duration to their time, but leverage that coach to help what we're seeing doing in Dominican Republic, which they play. When they played against the national stadium, we won 1-0. They played football. We played kick and hope football. We got lucky. Tactical expertise. And this is some things I come across. Spanish coaches are known for their tactical knowledge, particularly the position style of football, which emphasizes short passing and movement. Interestingly, as I mentioned before, Luis de la Fuente, who is the current coach, as I mentioned, he won his first thing with Spain, and he coached at regional youth level, not at the highest level. So their tactical expertise cannot be questioned. And we have a bunch of coaches, and I'll mention some of them a little bit in this discussion, from Spain, who are very productive and get positive outcomes. So let's think about the success, right? Because we want one outcome, we want success. Many Spanish coaches have achieved significant success, both domestically and internationally, winning major titles. I just espoused to you or provided to you a view as to what Spain has accomplished. So you think about Pep, who's won Champions League and a bunch of major league titles, whether it's in winning La Liga, winning Bundesliga, even though he didn't win Champions League when he was at Bayern, winning Premier League, winning Champions League. He's not the only one. Luis Enriquez won a triple when he was at Barca. He won the Champions League. He's not at PSG. He's won in France, but can't use PSG as an example because everybody at PSG win because they buy the most players. But they have other managers. Look at Emery, right? Look at Lopetegui. They have won Europa League. Look at what Xavi Alonso just did at Bayer Leverkusen in terms of winning and not losing a game the whole season in Germany. They are proven winners. These things are not disputable. And they had coaches before them, but the new batch of coaches are changing the game, right? They're changing the game. They had coaches before them. Spanish coaches did well. In the Premier League, people, 5 of the 20 teams are coached by Spanish coaches. Let me repeat. 5 of the 20. And if Leeds come up, Garcia coach at Leeds, it would have been 6. 5 of 20, right? Coach of them. West Ham coach, Arsenal coach, Man City coach. What am I missing? Southampton coach, and Villa. So 5 of 20. This is an English league, people. This is not a Spanish league. Because most of the coaches in Spanish league are Spanish. This is a English league, and they have what? 25% of the coaches? Look how much leagues of people, which coaches are in the world. These things are not disputable. Player development. Spain focuses on youth development. And they have their philosophy, as we talked about before. And the philosophy help young players. And you can benefit national team if you have somebody who can actually impart information to players, no matter what level they are, and they can absorb it and execute it. You look at their team, the Spain team, Nico Williams, Lamal, who don't have Spanish heritage, but you look at Pedri and the Gavis of the world, and by the way, those 2 are midfielders who are exceptional and are in the national team, and they're not even 20 years of old yet. Forget about Lamal, who's, 17 now. The Spaniards have a very strong cultural identity, and it promotes teamwork, technical skill, and creativity, people. A lot of what we lack all those, We lack teamwork, we lack technical ability, and we lack creativity, which is what they have in abundance, and that being imparted to us, and we can leverage that. And obviously they have, they're very experienced in terms of what they're doing, and they spend time coaching their coaches. They spend time teaching their coaches. They spend time having their coaches, and the coaches are innovative, right? You think about, they're always at the front of the whole tactical innovation. Pep started the whole false 9 at Barca, and he come back starting the whole construct of, you know what? Why not have an inverted, for example? Right? So they're technically or tactically very aware, very astute, and you can see that in the modern football. What Xavi is doing at Bayer Leverkusen. Fluid, progressive, ball playing type of football, which allowed them to dethrone Bayern and win the league. Look what Emery does at Aston Villa when he took over from Gerrard and how they up the ladder. So a lot of these coaches are very innovative. They all don't have the same exact style, Because Emery's are much more compact, but Guardiola is always tinkering. And and look, a lot of them are now speaking English. When Emery first came to Arsenal, I think the language killed him more than anything else. I mean, he had finished 8th one year, but he had a 22-game unbeaten streak. The language destroyed me. He went back and to go learn English. Pep don't even speak with an accent. Pep probably speak English, probably speak German. I think he was speaking German. He's in Germany. Spent time when he was off for a year learning German. And obviously speak his native language, Spanish. So I do think when you're looking for a coach, you want innovative coach. Coach can teach you modern football. We don't want no old football. We don't want that. So I've made my case for the Spanish coach. And if you come with anybody else who can tell me about modern football, I'm not saying Spain is the only country or the only coach who can play modern football. But I'm thinking about the more holistic approach, which is I get the coach from there, but I want much more. I want affiliation with the clubs. If I can get a Barca affiliation, a Real Madrid affiliation, if I can get a Villarreal affiliation, Girona affiliation, Atletico Madrid, I'm going to take it because I'm going to get the access for my players and my personnel. Go to Spain and go learn the language and go learn how to coach over there. Learn their technical, how they teach. Is there a Spanish coach? Look, as I said before, because people are going to ask, well, who you have in mind, Kranky? I don't have a specific coach in mind because a lot of them have jobs. But I just told you that the coach took him to the World Cup. He coached in the lower leagues. He's never coached at the national level. He coached in lower leagues and he coaches the junior national teams. And they gave him the job because, you know what? Some of the kids come up through him. So my view is that when you go look for a coach, at least the coach's philosophy should be having some style of play, because I was told that, we want to be flexible as if we're gymnasts. We're no gymnasts. It's football. We're not in gymnastics to be flexible. We need to have a style of play and a philosophy. Unless you have that, you're going around in circles. All you're going to do is go around in circles. Don't make any sense to me. But look, we'll see what happens. But if you come to me with those names I just mentioned and see I'm going to be impressed, you have no idea. I'm not going to be impressed. When you're going to go explore what you're going to need to do, and I know we said we have 5 names, we have short list. I haven't heard one name on the list who I think should be on the list. Sorry, not one name. I thought the JFF was going to go out and source their coach. I think what we did was get a bunch of resumes from people who ordered a job or people who know that they won't have a job, and they're the ones who want to coach a national team, as if we are some pickup country or something. That made no sense to me. No, I don't want much, Claudine. I just want a Spanish coach. It's not much you ask for. Go find one. One that has some kind of a track record and one that has a footballing philosophy. And they, by the way, all of them I know have a footballing philosophy. They come from Spain. Look, I mean, we're recruiting players, right? So the current crop we have now, so we got to break up the team between junior team, senior team, under 20, under 17, under 15. I think that coach should come in and help inform all of those. Look, when John Wall was here, and I wasn't a big fan of John, so I'll make that clear. But at least what he pointed out was the local players were not the level they required to compete in CONCACAF at the group stage level we are now. And boy, was John proven right. He must be sitting there smiling, thinking, these people have no idea what they're doing. I told them this. I want to go to overseas players. People are working on people's passport. They had a passport. And some persons in the JFF decided that they must listen to Chris Williams to go till 2030. They want to win World Cup in 2030. All those kids now, or under 20, in 30 years, they're going to be in the 40s and 50s, people. So they're not part of the program. They're not part of the program. We're trying to get to the World Cup in 30 years. But look, if the person had come and said, look, we want to put in place a structure and process to allow us to have a sustainable process to compete at the international level, and we can't just take short-term way of doing so, a more long-term way. I have no problem if every single player in the Jamaica national team is born on the island. I have no problem with it. If they're good enough. If they're good enough. No problem with it. And I also have no problem if they weren't. Good evening.
Hey, Mr. Kranky.
Who am I speaking to?
On? Jeremy Lee, man, from the Reggae Boyz community.
Okay, Jeremy Lee. What do you have to say, Jeremy?
I have a question to ask you. I did send you a voicemail. I was speaking to a particular blogger who was having a conversation about their closeness to the JFF, and they don't see what they're doing, and the person told me that they're not. Anyway, and I was going about the quota system, and I said, the blogger told me that every country has a quota system.
Which blogger?
Kranky.
Wait, back
Kranky.
up.
Yes.
Which blogger told you this?
And I'm gonna tell you the name. It's MG. And
What does he mean by they have a quota system? What does that mean?
And that's what I said to him. I said, bro, I listened to Kranky and I did my research. And he even said it's a discrimination. And I did my research, and I said the only quota I know is for clubs, right? And I said no international team has a quota. And I said, so I went and do my research and I couldn't find none. And so I said, let me call in you tonight again because it's some of the nonsense that they keep on coming with. Right.
So countries, especially countries that have leagues like EPL, which attract a lot of money, a lot of sponsorship, and a lot of foreign players because they're trying to get the best players, will put in place some kind of quota to make sure that local players are part of the team. Because those players will eventually fund the national team.
Club.
Wait. Let me finish. But the quota is not for against citizens. In fact, in England, the quota system may allow foreigners to be part of that quota, that 8 number they have. It depends on whether you deem to be. So, like Martinelli, for example, is count for the 8 for Arsenal because he came there as a teenager, at a certain teenage. So, at a certain age, you can be part of that 8 number. The 8 you have to have that's locally developed players in the EPL, each EPL team. But they have no quota against their citizens. And people got to be informed when they're talking about these things. They have no quota against their citizens. No country, I don't know any country that has quota against their citizens, period, except, for example, like in the US, which they used to have, which the courts knocked down more recently, of affirmative action saying, disadvantage this race in the past. You had them work for nothing. We want them to catch up and have a chance to compete. So we're going to reserve certain educational positions and other that. And that's even the courts have now changed that, right? People don't have quotas against their own citizens, especially in sports.
That's exactly what I was telling him. That's exactly what I was telling him. He swore to me, and I was like, yo, because the conversation came up about, some of you guys are hyping up local players and I try to block the overseas players. And look at this 9-0 and this 3-0. Let's talk about it. And you said there's like every country has a quota system. And I'll be like, for clubs. And I said, you know what? I listened to Kranky and I went and do my research and I did my this, I did my. I said, bro, but Speed said he put that in to protect local players, right? So this notion that those people that are so close to the federation and I try to put up a smoke screen is nonsense. Right. I want to do my research also, and I do my research and I said, you know what? Let me call you just to confirm with you and hear what you say, and I'm right.
Yeah, I think you're right. The blogger is wrong. As I said before, I don't beat bloggers on my program. That's not what I do. But whoever blogger you spoke to, the blogger is not right. The blogger is right about countries having quotas in the clubs because the whole objective is you can't just have foreign players in every single position and then you have nobody for your national team. They want their citizens to also participate and to fund their national team, but they don't have anything that is restricting or discriminating against their own citizens. And the Jamaica Constitution, I read that the other day, the Jamaica Constitution and the JFF Constitution and FIFA's, whatever people want to call it, they all are against discrimination, which is what the quota system does. Not the.
And I heard you said that over and over. So I was going over and I went and do my research. I did my research. I took a half a day and I did my research. And I said, let me try to catch you next time you're on. And I'm going to go back and have a conversation with that person because I'm going to invite me.
Wait. So here's what you do. I think it's Article 4. I have to go back to them. Of the go look at the JFF Constitution. It is either Chapter 4, Article 4, and the Jamaica Constitution, which is pretty long about the citizens, and marry them and then talk to the person and read to them what it says. In fact, the JFF Constitution basically says they don't discriminate based on, I think they said birth. And then it says, here's what's interesting about JFF Constitution, people. It says the members of the JFF, so those who are in authority, have to observe the Constitution, which is interesting, people. It's a really poor choice of words. It may have been deliberate because people want to get to with stuff. But it says it's disciplinary action will be taken if they don't observe the Constitution. You can observe something and look at it. If you had to adhere to it, which means you're mandated to use it. That's a different situation than saying I can observe it. Regardless of what it is, those who are violating with a quota should be punished. I don't know what disciplinary situation they have in the JFF and what that means, but it talks about they could be disciplined. So if they have quota, they should be disciplined. They should be punished. It's amazing when you go around in a circle, tie yourself in a circle, try to do something which is frankly illegal, inappropriate, wrong, should not be done. They should be punished. They should be penalized. I don't know what the disciplinary process is, but if they want to discipline players for doing something inappropriate, they're doing the same thing. They should be punished. But they don't adhere to their own constitution. So I guess it doesn't matter.
I bring this up, because right now I'm doing some work. I work 7 days a week, and the time I'm off, I'm doing stuff with the Jamaica football, right? Me and my group, I try to build fan base, and I try to give back to schools and so forth, right? So me put my own money in. I travel to my own money because at the end of the day, I have to work with the JFF, okay? So me just, I'm not just talking, right? I'm doing my little piece, right? Right now, my wife just drive 2 hours, go do something. I'm not gonna say what I'm doing, right? But me, I spend my money on my time. I try to help the football, okay? And so when I have tried to have conversation with some of those folks that are close to certain people in the organization, and they defend these nonsense over and over, what's so funny? Lots of my donors then that actually give us money, they don't have a problem giving us the money, but they said they don't know why they're giving us this money, right?
Well, you have to make the case as to why they give it to you, right? You have to make the case.
And so I am out there pleading with these people, because they believe in me and trust in me that they see what I'm doing with their money, right?
Right.
They see the money go out. They know I'm not thieving, and they say, boy, my youth, I know the organization is giving the money out. But what? Some people turn off Kranky, and this is the thing I try to stop, right? I try to stop the bleeding, right? But boy, it's like, I don't know, man. I just really don't know. But we are keep on a try. You can
only keep on trying.
Yeah, man. So me go on listen, man.
Yeah,
all
man,
right.
Bless up. So I see before the game saying France tried something in 2011. Look, if you look at the France team, apart from the kid that played for Atletico Madrid, Griezmann, and maybe Rodriguez who played on the left, they don't have too many players who are not black, And if your country if the majority is white, you can imagine how that may be to the citizens of that country. But it's still not going to hold up in a court of law to discriminate against your own citizens. It doesn't make any sense. And the players who play for Jamaica, most of them are black from what I can see, at least optically anyway. They look black to me. So what are you trying to prevent? It's really funny if you think about it. You're discriminating against people who look like you, who are you, who the only reason why they're different from you because their parents went overseas to get a better life or to find a good place to make a living for most of them. And you're saying they can't play in your team because they didn't born on the island. And it's really interesting. Really. What's TikTok saying? Because TikTok is from the JFF. Punished for what? Nobody has left out or because of a quota. We can't get everyone because we don't have the playing fields. TikTok, stop your TikTok. Don't bother with it. Don't bother with TikTok. You're talking nonsense. Somebody called me the other day when this was all going on to contribute to kids coming here. And I said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I would contribute, and I have done before. I don't talk about these things, but why would I do something for a country that you're going to bring the kid in and probably going to play him anyway with a quota system? People would contribute. I have no problem doing so, but not when people like TikTok, who's part of the JFF, are talking their nonsense. You have a quota system. Rudolph came here and said so. He said they have 7 people that they allow, and the coach has to justify anything over 7. Why are you saying this nonsense, TikTok? You're annoying. You're just going to get me upset. You're annoying with your nonsense. Or you come here, you're from the JFF. I don't know where in the JFF you sit, but you're annoying. You're talking nonsense. We will get I'll tell you what, TikTok. If there was no quota, we would all contribute and the kids would be here playing and you wouldn't have to pay no airfare. You have nothing to do with airfare. The JFF have enough money anyway. When Rudolph talk, he don't complain about money anymore. Because you got money from Nations League, you got money from Copa, you got Women's World Cup money. Stop your nonsense, TikTok. You're annoying, TikTok. You're the ones delusional. Because you're in the JFF. I know you're in the JFF. Every forum you go on, You have the same narrative, trying to change people's perspective. You're not changing anything because we know the real deal. It's amazing you come on here and try to espouse your nonsense. It's actually amazing you're doing so. Seriously. I'm not opposed to somebody having contrarian views, but when you come talk the nonsense, it's just frustrating. Why am I here getting perturbed about quotas and you're basically saying nobody's left out because of quota? You guys have been hiding since the under 20 got a hiding. All of you. I try to text somebody, they ain't answering. You guys are hiding. Come on to your hiding. And they want to blame the coach. I don't want to blame the coach. I'm going to get the coach water basket if you could carry water, and the basket not even have nothing to prevent the water from roll out. We've gotten 12 love in 2 games. What? 9 and 3, 12 love in 2 games, people. I want to come expose the view, but we are we go overseas and we play all these teams and we play them really well. We're athletic. We can run fast. Like a track and field, we play football. I have no idea what they're doing. No idea what you guys are doing. Nothing. You guys are clueless. And you guys block people from overseas from being part of the process because you want to garner things in your own little world. And a lot of you are not qualified to do the job you do. A lot of you in the JFF are not qualified to do the job you do. You're not qualified. You don't have the intellectual capacity to do the job. You don't have the thought process of the job. It's not even funny anymore. And it's frustrating for people who are watching you from outside saying, these people are clueless. You have no plan. You want to talk about you have some system process put in place. Where's the outcome for the process? What process you put in place? Man, TikTok, just stay in the chat, TikTok, and just listen and take your beating. Stay in the chat and take your beating, TikTok, you deserve the beating, and stop providing false narrative and false information to the audience because it's not right for you to do so, TikTok. It's not right for you to do so. It's inappropriate to do so. You hear me, TikTok? It's inappropriate. I am happy when Jamaica loses. Whenever I say I'm happy Jamaica loses, I'm going to drink some water, TikTok. By the way, people, I don't drink rum. I don't drink liquor. I don't drink beer. I try not to drink soda, even though I find myself drinking those Jamaican juice nowadays. I stopped drinking. I didn't drink a sweet thing like a beverage in like 5 years. And the other day I started drinking. Let me start drinking. JFF, let me start drinking, people. So I drink them some Jamaica juice, like the mango juice, something there. I'm not sure if it's really juice, something like drink. But anyway, TikTok, you make me drink. But TikTok, you have to do better. I'm sorry, TikTok, you have to do better. You have to do better, TikTok. I am happy when Jamaica loses. TikTok, were you on any one of these watch along the people who are on TikTok? You don't see what the bloggers are acting when we lose? You guys are TikTok, you guys live in your own little world, you know. All you guys want to do is be part of an organization, have the power, because you know nobody can get you out, and you're just destroying the football. You guys are destroying the football. We are regressing, people. Let me just say this. We're regressing as a country playing football. Not only us, the Caribbean. Trinidad is not much than us, actually. TikTok. I don't say for TikTok. I am multifaceted TikTok. I can get upset, and I can also be calm. I can be anything I want to be TikTok. And yes, I'm getting perturbed. You can say what I am. But if you get beaten, I don't mind nobody beating you in a TikTok. Because TikTok, if you can go around my history, when you guys and the girls had a fight, you know, I was saying the girls were wrong in a TikTok. So you can't put me on bucket. You can't put me on corner TikTok. And you know this. You're being disingenuous. You're not misinformed. You're well informed. You are not right, TikTok, and you know it. You can try to use your psychology on me in our work TikTok. My friends will tell me, me stay now. I'm not one dimensional. So I don't care what you want to say. The fact of the matter is, TikTok, is that you guys are killing us. You know, when we get 9 on international stage, we look like TikTok. You guys are trying to destroy the brand. You and your friends on TikTok are trying to destroy the brand. That's what you guys are doing. You're trying to destroy the brand, Jamaica. And you know what? We are helpless to stop you. And if the moat is the only thing we can use to beat, we'll not get beaten. So there's incompetence, and there's greatly incompetent. You guys we don't have no adjective to describe what you are. You're beyond poor. Beyond poor. It's frustrating. You understand? Look at you, them out, go for this, get 9 love. 9 in today's month. We watched Euro the other day. We see Slovakia. We see Slovenia. We see Georgia. Them countries not getting on 9 from the big team. We are getting 9. I don't come tell you how the football or youths are great and they play well and they play for the JPL teams and they do this. Poor kids. I feel for the kids. You don't hear me beat the kid one time, you know? Me not beat no kid since the whole thing started. Me not beat the coach from the whole thing started. The responsible party is the JFF. They're the ones who are inept. They're the ones who are doing what they're doing. They're the problem. And they have a job for 4 years and then beat them chest and can't do nothing to it. Get on away. But all you guys are doing is showing how inept you are. And the more you do what you do, the more inept you looked. It's amazing how inept you are. So keep being inept. Keep embarrassing yourself. We may go to the World Cup. But you know what I talked about the other day? TikTok, since you start me up, so I'm not going to stop. Most of the success Jamaica have had, and we've had some success of late, people. Don't get it wrong, we've had success. Whether it's with the women's team in the World Cup, whether it's Nations League, whether it's Copa. I can't point to anything and say the JFF was the reason for that success, which is sad. You hire a coach the other day, and the coach just treated him like a rag doll. Only hire a coach, and the coach just bamboos, you know. The coach must be walking with Spain, and them people don't have no sense. You make us look bad as a race, frankly. And I've pointed out where the coach using them, beating them up, get money off of them, leave, and don't know nothing. And then, but you know, here's what you guys did. One person come out and says they knew everything that transpired, and one person come and said they were shocked, and both come from the same place. That's amazing to do. You have to work hard to be that incompetent. You have one senior JFF person says, I knew everything. I'm not surprised. And one saying they were shocked. Hey, TikTok, is there a difference between being shocked and knowing something from the inception of it? Where is TikTok? I want to find TikTok and then comment them. I want to find TikTok. So this TikTok message, people. You've always been disrespectful to the leaders of our federation. I've always been disrespectful. What does disrespect mean? You mean you guys are incompetent? Actions speak louder than words. I look at your actions. I look at what you do. You and the girls had major issues. You and the men's team have major issues. You and the young team, you know they can't speak on have issues because you sent them out to dry. What are you guys talking about? When have you done things in a way? You fire every coach that does well. You fire Donaldson, and then you say you didn't renew his contract. You fired the previous girl for the regular girls because the girls protested for some reason, and the man won all his games. You got rid of him. You brought in Donaldson, who did well, did something unprecedented, and you got rid of him. You brought another coach in who couldn't get along with you because he deemed you to be competent, so he left. What are we talking about, TikTok? TikTok. Why don't you tell your friends in the JFF to get their act together so we can support them? Otherwise, they ain't get no support. Hey, TikTok, most countries, when somebody get 9 love, then people get fired. Okay, TikTok, who are you going to fire, TikTok? Who are you going to fire? Low reasoning. I'm not that smart. So now you prove the point. I'm not smarter than you guys. You guys are the genius in the JFF. You're the ones with the intellectual capital that nobody else has. You're the ones who bar anyone who live overseas that's Jamaican from being part of the organization. They got to be there for 10 years and you know that's not going to happen. You're the ones who set up this so you can have power for life. You're the ones who have no new blood in the organization, no blood with any different ideas and thought. You all are monolithic in your thought. You all think the same way. You all sing from the same hymn sheet. Wow, and Kranky's the one with the problem. Kranky's the one with the problem. It's amazing. TikTok is me. You're amazing, TikTok. But you're a TikTok. And so all you guys know to do is just, I don't know what you know to do. I am frustrated because I know how much intellectual capital Jamaica has. Nothing to do with Kranky. I'm not the smartest person in the world. But I know a lot of smart Jamaicans, tons of them actually. And they're as frustrated as I am. People are smart, much smarter than I am. They say they're not supporting Jamaica football. They're going to watch NFL. They can't deal with the JFF. Don't you guys realize how this works, TikTok? You'd have a lot of support if you guys fire yourself. Why don't you guys do like what Biden just did, TikTok? Biden sacrifices himself for the party, the Democratic Party, and for the country. Which one of you in the JFF have ever sacrificed anything for the Jamaica or for the JFF? You guys are all about yourselves. Every one of you in the JFF, all about yourselves. Don't care nothing about no country. All you want to do is give the players them attention, publicity, so you can sell them. Well, they got attention, all right. Poor kids. They got the wrong attention. You guys are proving your point that you're inept, and I'm not changing my tune on that. Are there smart people in the JFF? Yep. A lot of them are too smart for their own good. A lot of them are too smart for their own good. So we don't talk about the JFF anyway. No, waste of time. Waste of time. We can't change it. You know we can't change it. You guys won an election, which you manipulated. So we can't change it. So you win, TikTok. You guys won. 9-11, 3-11. You won. Good night.
Yeah, Kranky. Faith all day, isn't it? All gone, sir.
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm there. Anyway, you know, me calling, my main purpose of calling, if TikTok brave, tell him for calling. Me willing to hang up the phone and make him call.
No, he can't call. He's part of the JFF. People recognize his voice. He can't call in.
Then why him then?
No, he going on. JFF has their plan. They have their plan. They go on all these channels, and then he try to have the counter argument for everything. Why would everybody be beating an organization and people if they were doing the right thing? Then they'd be suicidal, right?
Then it's not only just that, but if him or her genuinely knows, say, listen, what they're doing is wrong, and it's not even helping or improving the JFF, then why you not just be humble and quiet and disappear like so the rest of the people have been doing, and just remain dormant and just basically make operation run? But if you're not brave enough to call and talk, then just humble. If you're clearly you're not Mr. Speed, because Mr. Speed at least would have probably show. So just be humble. I mean, not disrespect that person, but tell them, say, listen, if you're brave enough, call. Nobody with the talking in other thing. If you're going to communicate, call and communicate. Disguise your voice, no matter. But then if you're not brave enough, then humble yourself, please. Rightfully so. You see me? Because, all right, here's the thing now what I'm saying. You've been beating this horse for a while, and I've been 100% saying it for the longest. If I work with the organization, you understand, and I can hire the person, meaning I can hire the coach. Remember now, you have that power, where basically it will show up your conflict, because guess what? You can hire the coach. You can fire the coach, or you and your organization can fire the coach, the community, the members, them can fire the coach, and you own a club. So clearly, it puts pressure already on the person, if you say, yo, I have to go local because the money already don't like, they know on a bunch of overseas players, and them hire me so them can fire me. So in a way, it's like you said, you can't really blame the coach too much, but me have to give him some blame still. But because at the end of the day, I'm talking about parables because we never really want to bring it forward for just say JFF. But the whole point of me, I say still, the conflict of interest is so evident that for them, don't realize, listen, them play it off, say, them a try to keep the under 20 as opening for development. But it's not, because everybody know if you're between 18 and that range is where basically you're expected to become a professional in the world of football today. You see me? It's now the stepping stone of you becoming a professional. That's where clubs want to buy you or put you into their settings, whether it's the first pro team or then basically they can put you in the academy or under 21s or whatever. So we know what it is. It's a selling thing them looking for. And a man used to go up on every program and me say, yo, say, boy, the shareholders, I think never say shareholders, I always say that the people the other people basically will upset. If they might try to please all of them people, this is kind of like why it comes into play. Say, yo, they have to go local. You know what I mean? I don't know if it sounds clear enough as how I try to express it, but I've realized it over time that there's so much to it that they basically are doing this right in front of everybody's face without a care, say, and them try to use, like you said, look witty words and say, well, it's for development, or well, we just try for this, or it's a cutting cost or expense. No, it's not. Like you said, if 1 minute, if you call them broke, them come out and tell us, say, yo, no man, we balance with books and we're good. And we have this surplus and we've been dealing with our debts. Then what is it? You understand? Because it don't make no sense. They're even all right. Them go with the local youths then, and yet there was poor preparation for them. If majority of the youths them up on the island, why weren't they trained enough? Them never fit enough. Them never look organized enough. Why weren't they trained enough? So much youths were there on the island because it was a 23-man squad.
Yeah,
and I think it was what, six overseas players. So you have at least what, both 15 to 17 players there on the island. Why them never trained together? There's no excuse, no explanation, no exception. You understand?
Yeah, but I'd say this, DJ, which is, I mean, John Wall did point out that the kids were not ready for this level, right? That's why he got reassigned. Now, we were given a narrative that he got reassigned because he couldn't do two jobs at once, and the JFF expect us to believe that. I mean, they're treating us like we're kids and we have no sense, which is also very frustrating, right? They treat us like we're kids, like, oh, he got reassigned, he can't do two jobs at once, and they say it with a certain attitude, and you're just sitting here thinking, we were just born yesterday. We have no sense. The man come out and speak out, and you reassign him, and you're saying you need him at the national team, and you didn't know that from day one. Like, really? You believe that? Because you can't get your players in the team? You can't get the locally developed players in the team because he's saying they're not good enough at this point in their career. They need to improve. And you're going to then go out and you prove this point. And not only you prove this point, I'm not sure how those kids recover from all of this. It's unfair to the kids. It's unfair to the kids. Unfair to those kids. But anyway,
how can they recover? How can they recover in a sense? Because really and truly, you traumatize them mentally. Now when them pick up on the big stage, them not ready, and them are gonna really feel. We've been how much in the last 6 years? Which youth, apart from CFAS and the other one where they're Ukraine, apart from those two, almost everybody come back. In terms of if they get a local chance to go overseas and whatever, they just keep on going back to the JPL. Going back to the JPL. It's like it's telling you something. Say, listen, these players are just not fully. They haven't mastered the easiest part of the training, the understanding, and the knowledge. It's a part and part growth. I think they see the rough edges and say, all right, maybe we can tweak them and they can fit it to our system, and they can't. You see me? So it's a big time failure. And to add to your point with John Wall, my theory, hypothetical, but I just want to spit it out. My theory, you see, when Tony mentioned, say, yo, them school youth, you cannot cut it. Paraphrasing. He said, them school youth, you cannot cut it. You see me? And then when he did basically, I think he looked around the island and said, because I had a hunch, like, they might try force him to say, no, man, you have to go work with what we give you. And the man said, all right, I'm going to go look around and see what we can find. And I think because most of the players that he kind of wanted was from a specific academy, and the man must say, no, that don't benefit us. We have to go cut him and reassign him.
Okay.
So it was kind of like those me and two hand in hand. No, he might go pick me and the personal players, and no, like you say, he wants better professional players to represent Jamaica, and they wouldn't give him that opportunity. But like you say, it become a reverse slap in the face. But what they're doing, they're hoping this is a forgettable moment. People can sweep it under the rug and then move on. I think we just have to keep on reminding them of moments like this, because guess what? If not, they are going to just continue to say, no, man, we're good. We still can use one bag of local youth without the proper development, the proper coaching, and get there to the top level. I think they're hoping for, like how Morocco doing the World Cup, a one-off moment where them fees say, yeah, man, maybe we can show up like a Morocco and get close by and qualify our script through and make it there. It doesn't work like that. And there's not much luck in football. When you have good quality team, there is not much luck. They will have a bad day, but a bad day doesn't come all the time. Manchester City, though, is not going to have a bad day all the time. Or, the US is not going to have a bad day all the time. If we're talking about, international specifically. It's all about the quality you have and how much you're going to put in the work. You have to put in the work. Like you said, for example, the Caribbean countries are falling behind. You see me? And to prove our point about the coaches now, I'm going to switch over to the coaches. When have we had a coach from that's Jamaican that basically hasn't gone out there to higher get yourself higher level education and start coach a country outside of Jamaica? You know what I mean? Because there's a couple of them, you know, that coach the Caribbean countries, for example. And where are their teams? Where is the teams? Are these teams accelerating? Are they doing much better? There is none. So me not put them on. But as we can see, the proof is in the pudding. Mr. Speed himself have the highest level of coaching license in the island, are most likely one of. And his team has been doing well compared to the other teams. How ironic, you understand?
Right.
It's telling you something that, hey, the better your education is in terms of the coaching, the better your team most likely will be. Yep. So it's not even a fluke. It's basically telling you. So when you're telling them in comparison, say, listen, this country produced the best money can buy, the better qualities coaches. Spain can buy. You don't have to even go for the top tiers. We're not talking about no Pep and nobody else. We're just saying you can get a top tier level coach from a certain division or a certain era and get that person into Jamaica to develop the system, a style of play, and a philosophy that we can basically work with. How are you then going to question it if you know, say, it help you? Mr. Speed, no, it help him, you know. This is why his team is doing so good, but yet it's like, I don't know, I not say him per se, but the JFF don't want that. Why we don't want that? We want the best playing style football. We want to win. We want competitiveness, and we want it to keep on passing on to the younger generation. But there's none so. We don't have no style. We don't have no philosophy. Nobody not tell me, say we have any style or philosophy, both in the youth level or in the Premier League. Because I've watched some of the game in the Premier League, and no disrespect, there's been moments where some of the team might bounce the ball, but apart from just bouncing the ball, there's no philosophy where we can say, yeah, man, I feel them philosophy. Me, I say, me not see it. We feel like we lost, we're in shambles. You know, I'm just hoping that we qualify for the World Cup. I'm not doubting it because I think we should. But at the end of the day, it's not just about where you have. You need the right coach to make it happen. You know what I mean? You need a good coach to make it happen. Why not invest into that now, along with foreseeing the future? You know,
okay.
Like you mean, no, we just can't keep on a sabotage your own thing.
Yeah, now I hear you, DJ. Yeah, hopefully that will. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna say hopefully that will change, but we don't know if it's gonna change or not. We'll see what happens. But
lastly, Kranky, let me say this. Sorry, I just want to say this just to say to kind of nail in the point. If you know, say, listen, your main job, right, brings in most of your money, it cover your mortgage, it cover all of your top tier bills, and then the other little things, them you end up on the side, it just give you a pocket change. You know what? To make sure, say, you always secure that big job you have, meaning the Reggae Boyz, by them qualifying to the World Cup, $12 million easily. It and without a question, the boys them is the cash cow for the actual JFF industry. It brings in the most revenue.
Right.
So why don't you also protect that quality of revenue by making sure it have the right supplies, the right logistics, and the right thing going forward? Because the last couple of about a year, there's been a lot of rocky patches. You understand? You're on the verge of qualifying, and you can't mess that up right now. You have to bring in back a quality if you keep it steady and finish the line. Okay. You understand? So I'm just saying, don't mess up with what you're gonna have the biggest income coming in. You can't mess that up. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
you go yourself, All
right, bless up, DJ. Thanks for the call. All right.
Yeah.
Just to address a couple of points, actually. So look, I'm not. Did Jerome make mistake during the tournament? Yes, he did. But people, Jerome Waite doesn't deserve this. I heard Jerome speak subsequent to the first game, and he was trying to be positive. I think what he missed. I mean, he can't come out and say, you know what? They gave me a they gave me a strainer to carry water. He can't say this. I think he made some mistakes during the game, but a lot of coaches I know, even at the highest level, even the Spanish coach I've talked about, have in-game management challenges because sometimes people are reactive in-game versus proactive. Even more recently, when Southgate's at England, he was more reactive. He reacts when people score. But having said that, I lay the blame at JFF's foot. I don't lay the blame at Jerome's foot or the player's foot. Good evening.
Look, me is TikTok. And me name TikTok.
No, you're not TikTok.
So all
TikTok is not that brave. You don't even know TikTok.
Me is TikTok.
Okay. Who are you?
And
Who is TikTok?
Me is TikTok.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. This
So I get the boy. It took me a little while to get it. I'm slow. I'm so slow. When you say it the first time, I'm thinking, I know it's not a TikTok. A TikTok is not that brave, by the way, first of all. It's not that brave. When you say the third time you say that's not like, okay, Minzy. Okay, Minzy, you know TikTok. There's no way. Look, there's no way TikTok called this program. None. I know that personally. There's no way TikTok. What is it, Minzy?
You're slow, Kranky.
Yeah, I'm slow. I admit I'm slow. I was getting ready to blast TikTok, but it's not TikTok. God, this is funny.
This guy is a vice, but it not work.
No. You ever get an AI if you do that? Just get an AI. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing about it still, you want to look on the thing in a way where, or look on it from TikTok's point of view, because how will these youngsters be developed? How will they be exposed to international football? The domestic or local players. You see me I say?
Right.
I don't believe though that they should just be thrust into the team because of that one purpose, for them to get exposure.
So did they get exposure or they get exposed?
Both.
Okay.
Both. And that is what will happen. They'll get exposed if they are just put in the team for exposure.
Right.
You understand? and that is critical. That can be humiliating to the players. That can affect their confidence. So I think there should be a situation where some energy and effort should be flung into developing football at the youth level, rather than relying too much on the schoolboy football. Because I mean, how much can you teach a youngster in 4 months?
Right.
Some people might start 5 months. You can't learn all the rudiments and the principles of football in 5 months. Some people might do it from Colts and under 16, but that still cannot help them. So with the behind the 8 ball, and I think the fan base is kind of delusional as to, well, some of them as to how far behind the Jamaica team is. Whether we look on it from a senior team, a U20, U17 female team, we kind of struggle where football is concerned. First of all, we have to get the quality of coaches up. See? And I don't know if they can invest in some coaches coming and doing some not only talent development, because that is one thing. But we see the manifesto or the festo, right? And we don't see none of that come to fruition right now. So all of that thing was just to win the election, but nothing is happening. Nothing is happening on the ground. What is happening? I've not seen anything happening. So the football, they're way behind, and we are fool ourselves. We cannot use the, what do you call it, the schoolboy footballers to go up against professional footballers. U20 are professional age footballers, them,
Yeah.
But we really think we can go compete against them team and do something? No, we can't.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the US team, because they were announcing the players and what clubs they reside or where they're located, they were all pros. I don't remember any of them not being, whether in Portugal or Germany or with MLS teams, but they all had some kind of pro affiliation. And our kids are high schoolers. So you're sending high schoolers to play against pro. That cannot be fair to the kids.
It's not fair to them.
Yeah.
And I see somebody saying putting them out there to be exposed, it's exposure. Of course it is exposure. But before you put them out there to be exposed, they have to have some level of efficient training. They can't just put them out there. So if we get the training and it not work, we can understand that. See? And the JFF also Kranky have to hold the clubs accountable. Why they have to hold the clubs accountable? We can't remember, for someone to coach at the Reggae Boy level, the senior level, you have to have a certain level of qualification, right?
Yeah.
It should be so at the whatever level. I think they are trying to do that, but it might have moved too slow. They have to get some people at some level to help to hone the skills of the play. One of the most disheartening things, Kranky, is to see the amount of players returning. You can't get a contract overseas and you do whatever you need to do to impress so you can retain that contract. Too much ball or return.
Yeah, it's chronic actually. It's chronic actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And it is actually getting cranky to see some of these players coming home. Yeah,
I don't know if it's getting cranky to see them come home. They are coming home in droves. Look, I think. Look, I mean, this year I said on my channel actually, I said I'm not here to beat the JFF. I'm here to be positive. I want to support them, and we started out that way, and you and I went to the Nations League, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even with the girls, I got a lot of beating. I got a lot of beating with the girls about you support the JFF. You're a JFF person. I got beaten about your affiliation in low, so you don't want to say anything about JFF. I even get more recent beaten about Rudolph, saying you interview Rudolph and you're not tough on Rudolph. You're asking these soft questions. I get all these beaten, but you can't force me to do what I think is the right thing, which I think I was doing. But it's gotten to the point now where you're just like, okay, JFF. We were told by John Wall the team wasn't good enough the way it was. I hear TikTok saying, well, John Wall team was much better. We'll never know TikTok because John won all these games. I don't know what you're talking about. He won all these games. And secondly, he was saying the team he had wasn't good enough, even when he was winning all his games.
Yeah,
he was saying that. And I was told there were 10 to 14 players who had passports who weren't brought in because you have to maintain the quota.
Yeah, me hear the argument there. And I mean, boy, we have to just, we have to go do now, Kranky. For the fans, them have some semblance of mental health. Pretty much we have to just forget about the youth teams, Probably just watch some football and we curse and we go on again. But expectation has to be tempered because the youth team not going anywhere because the quota is a limitation and you have to understand, or we should understand, they want the local bred players to be leveraged into international football. And I think that might be a good thing. So that's why we need to take our mind off, having a high expectation for junior football.
Right.
Because if that is going to always happen, and we have to get some youngsters out there to play international football, might as well we just go watch some football and stop our expectation up.
No, but I think, look, Menzi, I think, if we saw...
Kranky,
go ahead.
Hold on, the Kranky. You know why that is important? How many of these youths are transitioned to the senior team?
Well, I don't think. Look, we don't know the ability of these youths because it wasn't demonstrated in the games they played recently, right? We don't know what their capabilities are. We just don't. They didn't look. They could look. I said this on the channel. They couldn't put 5 passes together in a game, which is hard not to do.
Kranky, look at Adrian Reed. One of our best talent. He looked out of starts in the game.
Yeah. He was. I was shocked the way he played.
In
fact, sometimes Menzi, I remember him having a ball, Minzy, on the right side. He beat one man. He had a pass outside Minzy. There are 3 people in front of him, and he confronted the 3 players, just making a simple pass. Like, that's coaching. I'm just saying, that's coaching. Or maybe he got coached the right way and didn't play the right way, but I'm not to call out him as any player. I don't want to call out any player per se specifically, but because they all struggled, most of them. Even Welsh has struggled in the second game, and he got a red card, even though I think he was the only standout player in the first game. And he plays for Leyton Orient people. You go tell me where Leyton Orient play. And he's in England, but tell me where big they're playing. I dare you to tell me. Which tells you a lot, Minzy. He was not Chelsea. He was not Arsenal. He was not Tottenham. He was not Villa. He wasn't even at Sheffield Wednesday or at Leeds. And we have a number of players in the UK from different clubs who would have come and played if they were given the opportunity. They weren't, because they weren't born in Jamaica. So when TikTok is saying when staying TikTok, you're not being fair TikTok, and you're not being straightforward TikTok, and you're not being genuine.
Kranky, my solution to the problem is, because when the youth them come play for U20 or U17, we might not have them for the senior team, because of eligibility, international eligibility. A man can start play well and then him go play for England. So what we need to do? Just leave out, make the quota stay for true, make the local man them try to make the team. And we just know, say, the fan base, don't worry about the junior team. Don't put your mind on it, because it's not going anywhere, because it's going to take a little while before things come to fruition. That's all I'm saying.
So Minzy,
channel our energy to the senior team.
So Minzy, I had stepped out and the people then pulled me back in the Minzy. You ever think when somebody say, I stepped out and you pulled me back in? I'm not saying you per se, but I say I didn't watch any, and I wasn't involved with any under 20 situation, because I said because of the quota I'm not getting involved. And I got all these pressure. People say you have to get involved, you have to come talk about it because X, Y, Z. So I came back and I watched the games, and I'm sorry I watched the games, because I wouldn't be here venting if I didn't watch the games. I would not be here venting if I didn't watch the games. I watch the games, and I'm not going to say I told you so, because it's not helping anybody. That's not the goal, people. I am not here to beat anybody. But JFF only need beaten. And JFF, I know someone TikTok mentioned about we can't afford people like you. No, TikTok. You guys want to be running the show. You don't want no help. You don't want no help. You didn't actually, say, oh, people overseas, let's have an advisory council or something. Let's work together as a team. No, you don't want no help. You want us to run your program year over year. You want to be like, oh, Chris, why name Chris Williams one? Go work up by 2030. So Chris will still have some crystal ball we don't know about. You can prognosticate the future, Minzy, and we'll work up by 2030 based on what we're doing now. I don't know. Strange.
Just channel the energy to the senior team. Because if we are gonna get beaten at the senior team and we cuss and we go on, and then we go at the junior team and I same thing. Why me say better we give up one enough?
No, so people, I'm channeling my energy for balanced view. It's my new challenge. Balanced, BALANCED, BALANCED views. Go on YouTube. I have 2 episodes so far. It's about life in general. I just channeling my energy because this is not perfect.
Kranky, if you realize and look through comment section anywhere you go, I mean only talk about sports comment section. Every way across YouTube. Seen?
Yeah.
People don't like balanced views. When you're a critical thinker, people don't like it. So what you gonna do? That's why I say me just focus my energy on the senior team. Because guess what? If you continue to do that, you have to start take up a pressure pill in a later part.
No. I did tell people that my views are generally balanced, but there's some exceptions. Like I'm not balanced when it comes to Trump. There's some exceptions. It was supposed to be, and I changed the name because it was supposed to be Uncensored Views, but I couldn't find a channel. I couldn't even find my own channel using Uncensored Views, so I changed the name to Balanced Views because I think I'm balanced. And I spent, by the way, Minzy, I was saying that earlier, I changed it and I deleted everything from YouTube. So I had to recreate the whole thing today. So it was a long day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, I had a couple of episodes. It's been good. The subscribers are slow, because they normally are, but it's coming in. So it'd be good. I can beat Trump. I can beat Trump. There can be
And
Trump
no hard
because
feelings.
and no hard exactly. No, he can't. He's not
But
going to talk back to me because he's not on my channel.
But Kranky, you know the thing about it, the thing, Jamaican personalities believe that they are not supposed to be under scrutiny.
Yeah,
And that's a
like
lot.
TikTok. Whoever TikTok is in the JFF, hear what TikTok just said, Minzy. You
Mm.
diasporans love to dictate, Cranky. It won't work. Get some respect for our federation leaders. I won't even respond to that TikTok. I respect people who respect themselves, and I respect people who do the right
But
thing.
Kranky, you respond to it. You're
Yeah,
saying
but I
respond.
can't. I'm just telling what my views are. So yeah.
Let me respond now. I do believe that yes, leadership position or role should be respected. See? And even if you don't respect the person, you can you have to show some level of respect to the position. See? But based on how them money are behave and the president missing in action and nothing now, it's like a whole breakdown of the thing. It gives unruly Jamaicans the leverage to not respect them TikTok. And me now said it is right in a TikTok. But if you set up yourself at all times as the leaders to put yourself in the firing squad at all times, you now put yourself in a no way, shape, or form to get respect. And when it comes on to respect, Jamaicans easily will drop you based off what? Your action. So they are going to respect you based on how you conduct yourself, you know. So if you're not conducting according to the position that you're holding, you're not going to be getting that respect. And it goes right across the floor. And if we think the Jamaicans are harsh, we go check the other countries, them people, they don't mince words. When it come on to talking about other leaders and all of these things, they think people look all Southgate. They think people afraid to diss him. They think people afraid to diss all of them. When they come on to English support, come on, man. Jamaicans are like small fry in the big pan, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I hear you, Coach. Interesting. I see some comments by Travis. Travis is always saying something on the kilt. And then TikTok, I feel good that somebody in the chat is supporting him. Travis says, Travis says, tell me a member in Federation in FIFA where diaspora dictate to its federation. So Travis has insight into everyone who lives overseas, outside their home country, and how they engage with the federation. Thanks, Travis. Travis, I didn't know you have those insights, Travis. I didn't know you even know who those people are, but it's okay. And also, if you want to talk about fans and federation and fans and coaches and fans and players, please get outside your comfort zone, Travis, and go other parts of the world or talk to other people or listen to other programs, then come and inform us about this. But don't come lecture to us about who's in diaspora and what we do, because you don't have the information. You just don't. I have people I work with from Ecuador, from other countries who I used to work with. I hear they talk about their federation and their football. And by the way, they're much more football fans than sometimes we are. I'll be from England.
Jamaicans are not football fans. Jamaicans only like to comment after the fact, you know. We love to comment after the fact. We are very good expert when it comes on to sports. And me not gonna take anything away from us, Kranky. We know we think, but sometimes we overdo it. Like we are the repository of all knowledge. I mean, include myself, you know. That's why I say we, because we overdo it sometimes. But as me say, and this is my stance, make a look at you them go and deal with the thing, and me channel my energy to the senior team. Because as it stands, the quota seems as if it's not going anywhere. So I'm not going to fight a battle that is not going anywhere. That come like me in a rocking chair and I think me I move. I mean now I move. I just back and forth. Me I go in the same spot. Right. You see me? So me I channel my energy, even though the energy for channeling at the senior team is tough same way, because you're not seeing the type of football. You might be getting a little result, and the people them prefer result. Well, some people prefer playing better than result, because me hear comment like, oh, the team play better against Costa Rica.
They did what? They did what?
I mean, I say seriously. Oh God, man! I want to do some pressure youth them more and more when I say them things. But as me say, Kranky, them youth they in the country, them have to go play some ball. So I guess that will never change. And we just have to look on the senior team. If we don't want believe, say, remember, say, Quota on the senior team, or allegedly, no Quota on the senior team.
It's not that big.
So
it's there, but it's not as big. It's much smaller.
Yeah.
It's much smaller. Now, at least they're open to, other players coming into the team. So I do believe that the senior team may have some elements of Quota, but it's not the same as the junior team. Junior team is clear, it's specific. There's no ambiguity there. I think for the senior team, it's a little bit different, especially given the level of football you're getting, or may be able to get. Yeah.
TikTok, yeah, man. Them criticize them going on them, man. We might not know about the English. Of course, the English FA. I've watched forums where they're going hard on the English FA, man. We are talking TikTok, and some of them going hard on the players. It might sound good because English they must speak, but the F-bombs are dropped regularly.
All right, so Minzy, let's think about this actually. TikTok, people respond to situations, to outcomes, and even though the federation in England may get beaten to be the coach who went to 2 finals and semifinals and quarterfinals, at least they don't have the problem. We don't see the problem they have with their players, both male and females. And he's in England. The Ireland FA has gotten beaten concerning the women's team and the sexual allegations being made against them. The Spanish FA has gotten beaten, and they're winning, by the way, TikTok, for their women's team. Right? The women's team won the World Cup. A lot of them didn't play in the World Cup. They have gotten beaten. The Canada FA has gotten beaten for their monetary situation, and their players want to boycott the team. So don't come here and tell us that other players are going to get beaten. You may not listen to them. You may not be informed as you are, TikTok, or you're being disingenuous. Because you know better. So don't come here and try to play us as if we don't understand what's happening in the rest of the world. That's not the case. You're being disingenuous. I mean, El Salvador at one point got banned in 2016. We know other people get beat their federation. Brazil Federation, the government one time replaced their president who manipulated election, and then FIFA forced them to make changes. So don't come and tell us FIFA that no other federation gets beaten TikTok.
Mexico fans go hard. Mexico fans go hard for the players when the players not playing.
Of course.
And them even allow get coaches fired on them things. So this is nothing new, man. So TikTok, me not agree with that part of the conversation there. See? Me not agree with that part of the conversation there. Because in sports, just know that in sports, once you represent any sports, whether basketball, baseball, NFL, football, track and field, English Premier League, listen, yes, when them fans they go bet them money, don't play with them.
Minzy.
Them are going to give it to you. So
Minzy, people don't even get the level of credit. Look what, Minzy, a good example, Minzy. Look when Wenger was on his last leg at Arsenal and AFTV was deemed to be toxic and the fans would go in there and lose their mind, Minzy. We can pull up some of those tapes in our TikTok. We can pull up those TikToks about how they talked about that's the way I put the name. That's the way I have the name Kranky, You know why I get the name Kranky? Because I believe in a self-sustaining model. And I said, you know what? I agree with Kranky. Don't pour your money in a football team when the team's supposed to support itself. And I would get beaten being Kranky because I like to go against the grain sometimes. I call myself Stan Kranky. I say, you know what? The man is being smart. He's not going to waste money like some other teams do. And people would lose their mind when we were losing or not doing well. And I took on the name Kranky because I said, you know what? I'm not buying into that narrative. I think he's doing the right thing. You should make enough money to pay your expenses. Otherwise, why are you in business? Because it's a business. That's the way I view it. I grew up in a business where that's how business operate. And some fans just want you to spend your money. But in Jamaica, the problem with the JFF is, a lot of problems, actually. They're not doing the right thing. They don't have the right strategy. I don't care what they want to tell us. They don't have the right strategy. They don't know how to compromise. Right? They don't know how to compromise.
Kranky,
yeah.
As you talk about the AFTV, them man after game, you know, especially when Arsenal losing up. And you know, so that a broadcast all over the world.
Yeah.
The man that have a fan then just come out and go up and it's something and just a cuss and a cuss and a cuss and a class up a player them and a call them all sort of name. I don't know where TikTok don't know about them something there. Them something
Well,
really
TikTok is saying that there's a difference between criticism and being disrespectful. I think one can merge the two, TikTok, because if you don't like what's being said, you can say it's disrespectful. If I say, and by the way, TikTok, tell me whose name the JFF have called that I've disrespected. So TikTok can say, we're disrespecting JFF personnel. Tell me who the JFF have disrespected TikTok. Put a name out there that I've disrespected, a person's name that I've disrespected.
And me want more receipt too. Because
please tell me who the JFF have disrespected.
So if we talk about them, it is disrespectful. You know, so most times Kranky are the person them in the comment section disrespect them.
Yeah, but I don't call names. I would say the JFF is incompetent. The difference between our body being incompetent and you say, well, the president is incompetent, or Rudolph is incompetent, or Chung is incompetent. I try to stay away from the personal name calling, personal situation. I talk about general organization based on their performance, based on what they do or don't do. Even when some people are specifying what their roles are and what they do or don't do, I stay away from that. I don't call anybody corrupt. Right? I tell people, don't call people corrupt unless you have evidence. So when TikTok come here and say certain things, or sometimes when Travis comes and say certain things after laugh, like, you guys are just, you're so parochial in your view.
Kranky, me get beaten for be politically correct, you know, or being a diplomat, you know.
Right.
Say, yo, me nah come out and say certain things, because me couldn't say certain things when me not have no evidence, and the same people them beat me.
Yeah.
So me not understand what TikTok are talk about. No, we're being disrespectful. And when you talk and not being disrespectful, you're a diplomat. Yo, I'm not confused, man.
So he said when Jamaican talk about the JFF is stealing and Hogginson is just a dentist. Well, Hogginson is a dentist, isn't he? I mean,
so what is wrong with calling the man by a dentist?
That's his profession.
Oh my God.
And look, their worst thing. Hey, look, I acted comment on Talk Sports the other day. This is the first time I've done this.
Remember what you gonna say? Hold on, the Kranky. You know, so when I am up at Ireland, some people have one comment section of them and say, boy, they never know about this man. All them know that he's a dentist.
Them a beat him. Me see them a beat him too. Minzy. Me see them a beat him. So here's what I say, Minzy. The first time I've commented on Talk Sports, because I listen to Talk Sports daily, basically, I went into the section and commented. You know what I commented on? Alex Crook, who is one of the transfer gurus of the Talk Sport, a Man U fan, he said Man U got rid of the deadweight players. And I said, it's inappropriate for you to use that kind of word for the players, some of whom may not be at the level they need to be, or who may not perform well for Man U. Just say they don't fit the requirements. They don't have the skill set you need. Why are you calling them deadweight players? Right? They're professionals. Why are you calling them deadweight players? Now, some of these players haven't played well. You can say they don't have the skill set. I go hard on JFF because, you know what? They're grown men who have a monopoly on a situation. They're not changing, and we're not getting positive result in terms of what they're doing. Yes, we have had positive result for the women's team, but they're at war with the women's team. Yes, we have positive result with the men's team, but the coach just resigned. We have a junior team. We have junior teams. We have team go what? Turkey and get 10. We have team come here and get 9. What are we doing? What are we doing? Your senior teams are made it. The women's team, as Rudolph said the other day, had 14 overseas born players in the team. The men's team probably is very similar. What are you doing with the local players to develop them to compete at the highest level? And why are you forcing them into the team when they're not ready? That's my point. So people like Travis can complain and say, oh, Kranky, all you want overseas born players in the team. And I know how much time I'm going to say it. So it's the 101 time. I want the best teams. I don't care where they're born. If they are born in Jamaica, they should be the one in the team. There should be no overseas born players in the team if they're the best players, and vice versa. What people like Travis like to do is just force local players in the team if they're not even good, not at the required level, because that's what makes him feel good. And so is TikTok.
But nobody can force nobody in a team, Kranky.
But they did.
YouTubers can't force no.
You mean us? We have no power. We're powerless.
YouTubers can't force nobody in a team. YouTubers probably go on a rant on a particular player for days. and our weeks, and then if the powers that be go check out the youth stats or whatever and decide to bring him in our team, people are gonna say, yo, because we talk about it, yes, but I know we force nobody in the team.
So here's Jeff Travis comment. He's saying, all we know that's poor people can be in the JFF and that hurt you all. Actually, no, it doesn't. I have more time to be on YouTube talking about you. It doesn't hurt me at all. You're confused, Travis. I'm retired now, Travis.
But
I have time on my hand to enjoy myself. One second, Minzy. We are not upset about not being a JFF. What we want is competence from the JFF. So you're confused, Travis. Not about position. I'm not looking for any position. I've had big positions in my life. That's not my goal. My goal is to enjoy the football, is to enjoy my country, is to see them do well, is to see excellence being exhibited, and I'm not seeing it. Go ahead, Minzy.
Yeah, man, you basically answer a question. Because I did say, which diaspora person want to be a part of JFF? Because I don't know of none. And from all I know is that sometimes they have been contacted and given basically conversation where them can, leverage and give them input on certain things. So I don't like say these people are just shunned and thrown in a corner. These people are contacted sometimes and ask questions and dialogue happen. So what them say probably affect whatever, but people get contacted, man. Enough people in the diaspora, whether England or US, people get contacted, man. Because sometimes probably even agents get contacted. And one of the agents live in England. So
yeah. So Minzy, I must make this point. Minzy. So TikTok says this. I'm gonna read it. He's talking about the coach. He said he did not like, especially from a public TV commentator, that comment insinuate that he can't coach. Nobody's English public TV trash talking their federation. Okay, TikTok. Here's the thing, TikTok. So now is July 24th, 9:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:51 Jamaica time. Let's see what happened if Ireland doesn't play well in their first few games. TikTok. Let's see what name you get called in Ireland.
Well, I know, Kranky, you're gone too far, man. How much beating Southgate get?
I know.
Westgate.
He can't coach. He can't coach any Premier League team. He's a coward. Don't you hear the players the other day complaining quite a bit in the Euro? Even though by the way, they went to the finals, people. And it was how they were playing before they got to the finals. They were getting beaten. Southgate getting beaten. They're not winning the right way. So we're not talking about outcome now. We're not talking about winning. We're talking about just how they were playing. They got destroyed. TikTok, go listen to TalkSport. TikTok. Go on listen and go on the YouTube channel in the UK. Don't stay in your little cubicle that you are.
I'm gonna go out to TikTok.
Broaden your scope. TikTok. Broaden your scope. Yeah, man. Broaden your scope. Because we're talking about.
Them beat Garrett, man. Them beat him, man.
And TikTok, when the coach fired on TikTok, of course, the TV station going to say something which is not good, right? Nobody don't hear about him. Yeah, he took Iceland to the World Cup and to the Euros. But what did he do after that? When he talked about his resume to Ireland, because I watched a press conference and I recorded the press conference, half of his resume was Jamaica. And he was only here for 2 years. Half of what he talked about accomplishing was what he did in Jamaica. So he didn't have that huge resume to expand. That's why people in Ireland are saying, who is this person? They don't know him.
They don't know him.
And everybody want to play attractive football. And he doesn't play attractive football. So if you take up for the coach TikTok, who just fire, we don't know why you do that.
Yeah. Then soon, them are turning upon him, man. But one thing I can say to you, Kranky, see the next coach will come on Jamaica. He might get beaten too, Watch how go on. Because nothing will change, And as me can say, most times, these conversations are held among the people in the chat. Most times, they are the ones who are disrespectful.
Right.
So TikTok is one that is always in the chat. So I don't know if he might hold up an account and him flip on all of them something there. So
well, no, the JFF is always in the chat. You know this. The JFF has always had somebody in the chat for every channel trying to manage the conversation. You know that. They come under different names, but they have people in the chat. Because that's the only way. And sometimes they confuse themselves and say certain things. And you know they're from the JFF.
Well, on TikTok, what do you call public? Do you call the paper public? Do you call social media public? Or you only call traditional television public? Because you don't hear it in Jamaica on the traditional media. But if you go on the social media, if they make a post and you go on the social media, that is a part of it. So I don't know what are you considering to be public? Because if it not happen on the local television stations, it happen elsewhere. And I think social media is more public than even those television stations. So me not understand. You miss me just a TikTok.
Yeah, look, I've gotten texts and other things. People are saying, Kranky, where you're going, JFF won't ever come back on your channel. And I said, I can't help being truthful. The truth shall set me free. If is that the way it works, then hey, I can live with the outcome. When you make your bed, you have to lie. So if nobody wants JFF want to come on my channel, what am I going to tell you? That's their prerogative. They can go on any channel they want to go on. The channels they go on is going to support them and don't criticize them. Then you know what? That's their prerogative. I have no problem with it. I am not going to go beat them and say, well, don't come on my channel. No. Because I told Rudolph this. I'm going to give you guys your kudos when you deserve it. But when you don't, I'm going to criticize you. And I'm not going to change who I am or what I do and how I do it because I'm trying to curry favor with some group or some persons. That's not happening.
Falling and say he was threatened that I Southgate. Because the people were upset because him lose the Euros. So me not understand. Maverick is public media. Sport Mac isn't public. There's disrespect our football program all the time. Sports Max isn't public. Me not understand that. Sports Max no something there. No broadcast all over the world. Especially when it comes on to YouTube. If they have video on YouTube, that not go broadcast all over the world.
Yeah. You know, Travis, at some point, you're going to get blocked from all YouTube bloggers. I'm just going to tell you that. Because you're continuously disrespectful. You disrespected me on another channel, and I still allow you on my channel, Travis. But at some point, you're going to get blocked from all channels because you don't know how to argue. You don't know how to reason. You're disrespectful. You're rude and obnoxious. And it's inappropriate the way you argue. And you're fighting with everybody in the chat. And you got blocked from a channel I know you got blocked from because you believe you like to disrespect people who live overseas for some reason. I'm not sure what that's about anyway. You like to disrespect people. And at some point, I'm just going to block you because I don't mind a dissenting voice. I don't mind people having adversarial views. We should be able to argue and agree to disagree. But you're rude and obnoxious and inappropriate in a lot of your comments, which is not right. You're going to talk about some people run off to the U.S. like somebody's a thief or they're a criminal. What's that about? Nobody, most times you're the one starting the argument. People are not starting with you, Travis. You're starting the argument. And you're disrespectful and you don't know how to argue. So you get rude and obnoxious with your argument. And it's inappropriate. Go ahead, Minzy.
No, I have nothing to say about that still in a Kranky. Yeah. I'm silent on that one because I have no comment on that.
Look, my philosophy is this. We should always try to get along as people. But in this forum, it's disingenuous for people not to criticize when criticism is warranted. I'm not sure if the JFF expect to come here and say, you know what? Under 20, you got 12 love in 2 games. It's okay. You did your best. Come home and we're going to put you back to go back to high school and play football and do the same thing again. We haven't made it under 20 World Cups in 2001. What are we talking about? When we had a chance to get some players, we may not have won with those players, but we may have been able to do better. We may have been able to do better. And you didn't give us a chance to do better because you have a process and a system where you discriminate against your own citizen. What are we supposed to say? That it's okay? It's not okay. My hope is that the JFF will take the criticism the right way and say, you know what? Let's come to the people and tell them exactly what our strategic plans are. Let's show them a timeline to execute and get it done. And we're going to have results by X, Y, Z. Why don't you guys do that, TikTok? Why don't you guys come out? You had a manifesto or whatever it is called, which you probably put in the trash can after you won the election, it seems like. Why don't you come to the forum and you can go all these channels, take some beating for what transpired. Take your medicine for what transpired. Because you can't expect us to praise us when you're embarrassing us on the world stage. Take your medicine. But as part of that process, because you be given the forum and the opportunity to do so, explain to the people what you're doing to correct these things and what strategic plans you have in place going forward and the timeline for execution and when you expect to have positive outcome. But don't come here and tell us about people not getting criticized because all over the world, sports fans are what they are. They're fans, meaning they're fanatics, and they're gonna get criticized if you don't win, and they're gonna praise you when you win. Messi used to get criticized by Argentina.
Yeah, very bad too.
Yeah.
Say him on the club ball, I only put the interest of Spain and this and that. Till one time, I think him not contemplate if he play for change him nationality, you know. So I'm gonna tell you see, we have a problem as a people still, you know. We can disagree, you know. There is nothing wrong with being being in disagreement, you know.
Yeah.
And you can disagree and it is done respectfully. The fact is that some people are not filter, and you have to understand that as well, because a diverse people, seeing.
Right.
But when me look on Kranky, seeing at the YouTube space, I don't take things personal. Even though some of the things might come across personal, I don't take nothing personal, because words are powerful, though, you know, and some people don't have a mental fortitude to deal with it. Me good. My something there. My EQ is good. Seeing? And not everybody can talk like that. But we just need to, as a people, be able to have a conversation. We disagree, and at the end of the day, we're good. And remember, people express themselves differently, you know. So we can't say, yo, I bash down a man because he might express himself differently from you would normally express. Because some people really don't know another way to express it. They just know one way, you see me?
Right.
So me no really, and that's why me not really bar people from comment section and block people and them something, because me understand that people genuinely have different views and people genuinely don't know how to express themselves but one way. You see me?
Yeah. No,
so that's just my views on the whole matter in the comment section.
Yeah, no, look, we all are different. As I said, we're not monolithic in terms of how we think, how we operate. We're not all just composed and are the same way in terms of what comprise our being and how we think and how we operate and how we respond. The point I'm always trying to make on this channel that I've said a lot of times is you can make your point, you can dissent, but if you're going to just curse somebody out and say, like, you know, all you foreigners are XYZ and you only complain because you can't get in the JFF, that's your view. But it's the way you say it. I always say, it's the how. It's not what you say a lot of times, you know. If you said, look, people in diaspora, you have aspirations to be part of JFF, but the JFF is already settled. They have the process. You don't fit into the process. And I would say to him that, look, they exclude people in the process deliberately. They have a 10-year requirement. They don't want any help. But if you don't want any help in life, people, you better do good. It's going to get criticized. If you don't want any help from anybody but the people around you, you have the same people doing the same thing year after year with no great change, and we're not seeing positivity come out of it. They expect to get criticized. Don't complain when you get criticized.
Yeah. TikTok. You see, I'm just explain the diversity of different people, you know. Argentina people don't sound like us as Jamaicans. And because we believe that our language is crude and it is strong and it is forthcoming, then every time somebody says something, it will seem as being disrespectful. When it is not, you know. As we say, some people don't know how to express it in another way. So not because a person will say, oh, Messi, say it in English or Spanish, them speak. Oh, Messi, all he does is play good football for Barcelona. Why don't he just stay in Spain? When he comes to the national team, he doesn't play well. That is a strong criticism, you know. But what? It was said in what? English, and if it was said in Spanish and you translate it, it come across that way. But it might not be strong in our language. When we Jamaicans say, yo, that man if you go, the man they not put on back a Jamaica shirt. The man they not good.
By the way, that's how the English talk. Minzy, they may have a cute accent, but that's how the English talk about their players and their coaches.
So that me I say Kranky, I just because our patois seem crude and hard and forceful. Why people think it is always being disrespectful. Other people disrespect people in a mild way, you know, because our language, you know, but it not really mild, you know. And the same force that come with, you know. But because of language, make it seem that way.
Yeah, no,
Me don't know if you
but
understand what me
no,
I say.
Spanish is spoken in a passive voice, you know. It's not an active voice, right? Spanish spoken in an active
Right.
voice, right? So it's a different language in terms of how all the delivery is.
Right, but at the same time, English can be softly spoken as well.
Yes, it
But
can.
it can come across in a manner where you're still being forceful. Patois, the Jamaican language, is just seen as being forceful at all times.
Yeah.
Because if you say, yo, that man enough, even if you say it in a calm tone, yo, that man enough to play back for Jamaica and that man enough deserve to put on back a shirt, you know. I see him thing if me go up on the top of my voice, you know.
Yeah.
I be pretty much the same
it's
thing.
how it's
you know.
received by the recipients. So what TikTok is saying, well, Kranky, you said JFF is incompetent. That's disrespectful. And I must say this TikTok, that may be the case, frankly. What I meant to say is that you're not doing your job well. Let me use euphemism. You're not doing your job well at all. And by the way, not only you're not doing your job well, some of the people in your organization, they should consider other vocation. They should sacrifice themselves that Biden did for the country. They should revisit what they're doing. That's all I'll say.
Hey, me see comment section, JIS YouTube, and the Prime Minister talk. I have two set of people. One, the crude set of people, I tell the Prime Minister all ends of words, choice words. And then you have the others who are speaking in the English language. But two of them, I would consider them to be the same in terms of disrespect.
Right.
Once you're in the public sphere, you are going to be criticized. People criticize me every day on YouTube. You think me gonna come down? No, because me know say once me put myself in a position where I am going to be criticized, me have to just accept the criticism. So that's why me build up my EQ and my skin become a rubber. So everything what them are true, it have a bounce off.
Yeah.
So once in the public view, TikTok, you are get criticized. It no matter how, if you see it as disrespectful or it is not seen as disrespectful. And I put it to you, TikTok. Many of the times, not all the criticism is deemed disrespectful, but what we see as a people is that we always identify the bad things in the criticism. And we just lament on the bad thing. We just lament on the bad thing all along. When, quite frankly, that I speak every time.
Yeah. I'm gonna give TikTok a suggestion and Travis a suggestion. Go to Perplexity on the net. Type in what people are saying about the JFF, and also typing are there any derogatory comments being made about JFF, and come back and tell us what you find. That's all I'll say. You go there and check. Perplexity is an AI tool that's on the net. You go there and find them to summarize people's perception of the JFF, and then come back and tell us. If there's anything bad or derogatory, what's the view on the JFF? Come back and tell us how that works. Let's see if AI has anything to do with. Let's see what's informed
TikTok.
AI.
TikTok. I don't get an opportunity to watch all the YouTube shows. So me can't talk for everybody. See? I know about me. And I don't disrespect no one. People might see whatever I say as disrespectful. If you see it as disrespectful, link me, DM me. And if me need to apologize, me can't come apologize because I'm not too big for that. But nobody has ever said to me that I have disrespected them. So quite frankly, I see it as not being disrespectful at TikTok. So if the people have a problem, let them come over and say, yo, stop disrespecting me.
Look, I mean, as I said before, when I talk about the JFF, I'm talking about a body. I try to stay away from the individual thing because, I mean, I'm not trying to get personal with anyone. But if a body's operate a certain way, they have a history of how they operate, they still operate that way, we get negative outcomes. They want to be praised, really? You want to be praised for doing what? You have to.
Yeah, and if you look on the grand scheme of King Kranky, of course, some of the things that are said toward them, it is warranted. But people don't like to be criticized,
Yeah.
whether it is good or bad.
And by the
So
way,
now
TikTok.
AM,
Go ahead.
hold on. AM Henry say, if me regret doing the video call in the dual citizens, whatever, I don't regret nothing when me do AM Henry.
What you call?
If you
What's the
listen-
dual citizens? What? Say it again. Do you regret doing those?
Call and reject.
Oh, okay.
But it was all what you'd call it now. It was all what the term again, man. I was just trolling because of a video that was done, an interview stating that they are rejects. And I just a play upon it. See, so I was being sarcastic in the video. So anybody not hear that, I can't help you. So AM Henry, I was only being sarcastic.
Yeah.
I was laughing right through that video.
Yeah.
And even
look,
if you don't hear the laugh or not see the laugh, me did a laugh to myself because I say these people who said that, me just pretty much feed them ego in sarcasm, and them not even know.
Yeah, let me say this: TikTok and Travis, it's not a laughing matter to discriminate against your own citizens. It's just not. I don't find it funny. It's not okay. You may have an aspirational goal you want to achieve by allowing those local players to get opportunities, but you can't do it at the expense of kids or your citizen. It's not the right thing to do. And I like no TikTok. I drew the analogy with the US with affirmative action. The analogy is not right. You're not making up for some past wrongs or some past misdeeds. You're telling a 15-year-old who grew up thinking he or she's Jamaican, who have Jamaican citizenship, that, you know what, they're good enough, but they're not good enough. They're good enough, but you're going to not give them the opportunity they deserve. How do you justify that? You can't, there's no justification for a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old. You can't justify it. To tell those kids, some of them in England, and TikTok says I should give name. I'm not giving you any name, TikTok. I told you there were 10 to 14 kids who supposedly had their visas. I was contacted, by the way, to provide some resource. And I decided, no, I'm not doing it because I wasn't getting involved in anything that only the senior team was getting involved with. No junior team because I didn't believe in the quota system. I'll never believe in it. And it's an affront to me, frankly. So I don't know how you justify telling a 15 or 16-year-old who grew up speaking the language, who grew up eating the food, who grew up listening to the music, who spent time in Jamaica, for some of them do exemplification, think they are something, had the citizenship, and you said, you know what? Nah, you weren't born here. So we have to exclude you because we have to only the people who are born here are true citizens. You guys not born here are not true citizens. How does one defend that?
Yeah.
No, TikTok, TikTok. You can't speak for TikTok. Rudolph was on the channel with Man's Man when I was on there the other day when I got upset. He said they have a quota system. He said some of his stakeholders want no foreign-born players in the team. You want me to go play? Yeah, I can get a tape for you on TikTok. Because you seem to be like some people in JFF, which I talked about before. Some people know what's happening, some people don't know what's happening. I've heard two people in JFF come out and said once they knew the coach was going to leave, once they were shocked. That's what I call incompetence, TikTok. That's what you get upset about. That is disrespectful. No, it's not. If you're an organization, when two leaders come out, and I didn't call people's name, one said, yes, I knew about it. I knew about it for a while. One said I had no idea. I was shocked and that it was inappropriate. You call that competence, TikTok? And TikTok's going to hear say that's not happening. The person said on the channel that I have stakeholders who want, and people in the administration who want no foreign-born players in the team. And those foreign-born players will be citizen TikTok. So don't come here, TikTok, and say these things. TikTok, that's why you get disrespect on TikTok. That's why people disrespect on TikTok. Because when you come and say things which are not accurate, people get frustrated. And then you walk away saying they get disrespected. I'm not sure what you want people to say. It's okay to have misinformation out there. It's okay to say something is the case when it's not the case. That's not okay, TikTok. It cannot be okay. It cannot be okay. And it's so frustrating to hear that. It can't be okay means it can't be okay. I heard the two people. One said, I had one on my channel. The person said, I knew all along. And then we had somebody senior come and say, I was shocked. I was flabbergasted. I didn't know this was the case. I mean, he didn't use the word flabbergasted, but the person said they were surprised by it. Now, how can you have senior executive in an organization have two separate, distinct perspectives on something when they should be aligned? And by the way, the person who said that they knew, they communicated up the chain. So even if two persons don't communicate, they would have gotten intelligence and information. Come on, people. So look, I don't think anybody look TikTok. Nobody wants to disrespect the JFF. Nobody wants to disrespect anybody. At least I don't. But we get frustrated with the nonsense. I was the one when I used to interview the GenSec. I think I interviewed him 4 times. And somebody said to me, you know what somebody said to me? Who knows me well? You did 4 interviews, about 2.5, 3 hours each. You got the same information from those 3 interviews in 10 minutes because you're going around in a circle. And I was trying to tell the person that, you know what? Compromise, be conciliatory, work to achieve a good outcome. They didn't want to hear that because everybody's stubborn. Everybody want to have their own way. Nobody want to really listen. People in diaspora can't tell us anything. And we see where that took us. We went around in circle with those individuals and end up in the same place would have been 6 months before, and the girls could have made COPA. That's a perfect example, TikTok. And things really haven't changed. Same people, same ideas, same thoughts, same outcome. No, he said I practice Quota. Don't say that. You know what I'm going to do, TikTok? Next time I have the chance to come on. I'm going to go look at those tapes. They have a quota system. He said they have a quota system. It's 7 people. And here's my problem with that. It's not in writing. So I'm going to tell you what I did TikTok. I make excerpts of the Constitution for Jamaica. I made excerpts of the Constitution for the JFF. I plan to take down copies of those videos because I'm gathering evidence. So when people like yourself come on, you can make these statements and not being held accountable. He said they have a quota, and he basically says it's 7. And he basically said also that the coach, there's flexibility in the quota, because the coach can come and prove that he should have more than 7 people. He said it numerous times, not one, not only on my program. He said it numerous times.
Oh, that Mr. Speed.
Yes.
Yeah, him say if the coach can prove same need, then he can bypass himself.
And then TikTok is coming here saying never said there's a quota.
Yeah, man. And my program first in company and the quota argument come up, and that's where the conversation started. 2 week in a row, Mr. Speed in company show because of the argument there.
Then I got mad with him, a management
I was a 3%.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I got upset on management program the other day when we were talking about this. He said it again there, and I got upset and got off the channel. I got really upset and said, you know what? It's unconstitutional. It's discriminatory. It's illegal. It should not occur. So why would I say all this thing, TikTok? Am I just making this up?
No, TikTok. That's true, man. That's true, TikTok. He said it, man. He said that there is no quota for the senior team, but there's a quota for the junior team.
Yes, he said it for the junior team. There's a quota. No quota for the senior team. And then Manning's man said he agrees with quota. He doesn't agree with quota for the under 20, but he does for under 15. One thing TikTok. One thing about YouTube Space, apart from Kranky messing up his Balance View channel, these things are recorded.
Yeah,
these
man.
Things are recorded.
Digital library, no?
Yeah, there's a digital library TikTok. We can pull them up. We don't have to hear and argue with you about what I said or not. We can pull it up.
Yeah, man. It was said TikTok. I'm telling you, it was said. The last conversation was that if peradventure a man realized or the coach realized that there's this player that they have to get, he will soften the 7th quota rule or players rule and add the amount of players they would have want there.
So here's TikTok is saying. TikTok is now spinning and changing his tune. He said, Speed has always said to us that the policy isn't enforced. He also said that the coaches have always gotten the players that they want.
No, that's what I'm saying at the last conversation.
So
that is what he said in the last conversation.
So we can go around in circle on this. You cannot convince me, TikTok, that John Wall wasn't fired because he wanted to go get overseas players. You can't convince me on that. No matter what you tell me, no matter if you want to spin the wheel about overseas players, John Wall couldn't do 2 jobs. He spoke out about this. He was clear. I interviewed him when he spoke about this initially. I thought he was a bit arrogant, by the way. I have to say that. And condescending, but that's okay. But at the same time, he wasn't wrong about the ability of the players, and they don't think they could compete against the best in the region. He was not wrong. He's been proven right. In fact, sadly proven right. And it's extremely differential in terms of him being proven right. It's not even that he's proven right, TikTok. We had no idea that the difference was that wide. It's huge. We don't belong in the same field with the US for under 20. Not on the same field. Much to explain them. We don't belong on the same field. We didn't belong in the same field with Costa Rica. Because even though you say we progress more, they missed a number of chances in the first half. And we may not belong in the same field with Cuba, because Cuba played well against Costa Rica. Cuba did decent against so we'll see how we do against Cuba. The point we're making is this, TikTok. Because I don't want to beat anybody. I've always been, I don't want to beat anybody. My problem is TikTok. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And it's about people. It's about people. It's about people. It's not about, we keep making the resource excuse and all this other excuse about people. And this whole view that we don't have money to pay for people to come, I just told you TikTok. We would all put, if you guys want to say, you know what, we could get 10 overseas players, we will find the money. We pull our resources and get them over here. We do it. It's not the issue. So TikTok not changing too. Our quota policy is good. TikTok, that's a contradiction, TikTok. Quota and good don't belong in the same sentence. That's an oxymoron, TikTok. Take it back. Your quota is illegal, TikTok. And if I took this to FIFA, it'd be a problem for the JFF, which I'm thinking about doing, by the way. The Jamaica government won't get involved because they know much better themselves anyway. And people beat me for that, but I'm going to say it anyway. Jamaica government get involved. They shouldn't get involved in football business, but they should also understand that their own citizens have been discriminated against. But we get the same thing that you guys live in outside Jamaica. You guys are XYZ. That's what we hear. But they should be taken to task for this. It's inappropriate and illegal to discriminate against your own citizen. So we can try to polish this up, TikTok, but you're around TikTok. There is a quota. And there shouldn't be a quota. There should not be a quota TikTok. You can't justify a quota TikTok. If the kids are not, here's the thing, TikTok. So you have your quota, but then you prove that these kids are not good enough. You're going to still throw them out there TikTok without preparing them to go out there TikTok? TikTok, let's explain to us how you're going to fix this TikTok, because what I haven't heard from anyone, first of all, the JFF is hiding as it comes to this. They're not coming out here in these forums and talking about what transpired and why it transpired. They're blaming some one lady who don't run football. They're blaming her and the coach. The people in the organization not taking, here's what leaders do, TikTok. You talk about leadership. So I've been a leader, TikTok, in large organizations. Here's what leaders do. They take responsibility. They say it's my fault because you know what? The buck stops at the top. They're saying it's my fault. Here's how we're going to fix it. Or they probably resign, like the head of Secret Service just did. That's why we don't hear TikTok from the Jamaica Football Federation. That's why people get upset. Nobody's coming out. Nobody's presenting themselves. No one's taking the beating they're supposed to get for these situations. It's not working that way, TikTok. And that's not right. So. You still there, Minzy?
Me I say no. Yeah, man. Me I say no. See, because me hear TikTok so much, I go up on TikTok, go scroll there, man.
All right.
I mean, I thought the app so people don't get it twisted.
I know what you're talking about. But you know what? Be careful. Be explicit.
That's why I be explicit and I say the app.
Yeah. No, all
Anyways,
right, Minzy. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah,
man, no problem.
Yeah. Someone was calling from an 86 number. You can call back. You know what? I'll call them back.
Breaking news. Good afternoon, gentle people.
You know, so we almost done CC. Can you call later? I mean, you talk for about an hour, you know. Me beat you. Yeah, 5 minutes can be close on by 9:30.
No, yeah, we're going Kranky.
Me want to hear CC summarize something in 5 minutes. Me want to hear that.
I heard. I did a video earlier, man, and I thought about coach, so that's why I'm never really. Plus, me end up leave work late. But breaking news seems like Coach John Wall has been let go by the federation.
Oh yeah, I didn't know this. When was this?
I just saw a snippet on TVJ, I think, or one of them station there.
He's been let go a long time ago. He just wasn't official.
Yeah, he was on garden leave.
And now he's on garden leave. Now when we're on garden leave, a lot of times you're the ones who made the decision to leave. You can be let go and be on garden leave, but
It can be
garden leave is not if somebody say you're on garden leave.
But garden leave sometimes in Jamaican context, Kranky, what I've come to understand is that garden leave is when you are forced to resign or forced to leave. Typically,
but they're still paying you. But they're still paying you though.
But they're still paying you. But it's like you're not going to get fired publicly. Because we have seen people who have been put on garden leave and after they don't get fired, but it's like they're probably too big for you to fire them and like sully them reputation. So some people would say these people resign, but they were forced to resign. If you understand, like the corporate world people, they were forced to resign.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, he's let go. I think because the news said 2 days after the president said he had more to offer. So basically, so my thing is this, though, Kranky. From this whole coaching search and everything, it's come to my understanding that the president's place in the federation is just as important as another director on the board.
What do you mean?
Meaning that all right, so for example, the president's position, if the president is in favor of like a specific coach or a specific decision,
right?
The president doesn't have a veto power over the board itself then.
Well, no, president shouldn't have veto power over board, right? So then why have a board? The board is a governance body. It's the oversight body. So if you allow a president to think about the corporate structure, you can't allow a president oversight the board. The board has overall responsibility now. They don't do the day-to-day execution. That's what the president does. And the president should be influential, but the president cannot override a board. As you shouldn't have
But then in this situation though, Kranky, the president don't really do day-to-day. Is the general secretary does day-to-day operation.
No, but in most organizations, and in this one too, the president is responsible for execution of the strategy, the mandate, how a company operates, right? The board has governance and oversight responsibility. The boards are the representative for the shareholders, or is the one deemed to have governance responsible for the company, right? It can't be the president can veto the board. That cannot happen.
But may I say, all right. So in the case of like hiring a manager, should it not be between like the president, the head of the technical committee, and the general secretary, and then a director?
It depends on what the policy of the organization is and how the decisions are made. There should be protocols in the organization that stipulate how these things are done, especially at executive at a certain level. It's a unique thing for a football organization because they may have not a traditional HR department that does the sourcing. They may have their own rules about how this works, and they should execute based on the rules that they have.
Because I can understand, like, hiring for example, hiring the GenSec, I can understand it going through the board. But like if the GenSec is hiring an assistant, I don't necessarily, think the hiring of the assistant goes through the board. You just know that you run the budget and the budget goes through the board.
Well, you will determine what levels go to the board, right? So for example, when Ireland hired Agrimson, what they talked about was they did their search, they did their hiring, but they talked about the board information provided to the board and the board providing their approval. So I'm assuming that maybe a lot of FIFA organizations probably leverage off each other about how they operate. And they probably have somebody who's the front person, who sort out the resume, who do the due diligence, who bring a list of final candidates to a body, or maybe a couple of people who are doing this. They got to be people who decide what that 5-6 people are. They then determine who will be on the interview panel to do so. It could be individual interviews, or they do it as a panel. But they will have structure and process, I would assume that they do around the whole process. But no, I don't agree that the president can have veto power. That should never be the case.
No, I understand the case with the but I think it's like, but I understand that notion though. But my thing though, I just realized, to me, when it comes on to even the coaching situation, let me tell you what I don't like though, Kranky. I think persons are of the opinion that we're taking away opportunities from Jamaicans to give to other people. And I think that's just not...
No, you're taking opportunities from Jamaicans to give to other Jamaicans.
Not other Jamaicans.
No, that's what it is.
No.
You're taking opportunities from Jamaicans to give to other Jamaicans based on where they were born. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, but even like the coaching aspect too, when you have some persons are of the opinion that they want a Jamaican coach, then a coach that is Jamaican, or not even say Jamaican. Let me put it how them say it: a coach that is Jamaican born and bred. Because of that, them want to know, not necessarily Jamaican, as in Jamaican first generation, second, but Jamaican born and bred. But my thing is this, because we see it with even when persons are talking about immigrants taking away their jobs. My thing is this, Kranky. The most qualified person on merit when you're going through the process and what you're trying to achieve, that's the person that you employ. Right. So if the coach that you're looking for pick certain, for example, if the coach come and say you need a pro licensed coach, a coach that has a certain level of experience, and a coach like international experience, and a coach who would have managed at a certain level. What the other local coaches or other coaches who would have thought that they would have been blighted, then what you now should do is go out and apply yourself to get the requisite qualification and experience so that when an opportunity comes up, whether it be Jamaica, whether it be other Caribbean countries or any other major team, that job that comes up, you're in the position to get it. Because it cannot be that you're just eyeing Jamaica job. What if the Cayman Islands is looking for a coach? But the Cayman Islands want a pro license as well. You cannot get the job. What if a MLS Next Pro team wants a coach, but the MLS Next Pro team wants a certain qualification? You cannot apply for the job. You understand, Kranky? So is it that you're limiting yourself to get in the Jamaica job because you're Jamaican and you know somebody? So you're putting yourself in a position where if you don't have links, you will not be employed.
But isn't that Jamaica? Look, I always thought about this when I was going to high school in Jamaica. When I was like 15, they used to give out jobs like a parish council, right? The only people who got jobs were people who know people. There was no interview process. Only people got jobs were people who know people. Either a relative is in there or somebody they know or a family friend. So you as a kid hoping to get a summer job would never get one. That's Jamaica in general. Nepotism permeates the environment.
But you know what I look at to Kranky when I look on it, some of the time I have to wonder if they're not realizing that, for example, Shavar Thomas is a Jamaican. He's coaching at FC Cincinnati too, as in an assistant coach. Tyrone Marshall is the coach. Tyrone Marshall was the interim coach for the MLS club FC Cincinnati. These persons are Jamaicans, you know. But guess what? They're in a position to be coaching in an organization in the Major League Soccer. Whether it be Major League Soccer second team or not. But my thing is that they have qualified themselves up to the point where they are qualified enough to go in the global marketplace. And I think that is where a lot of us as Jamaican, we're not thinking about that. Because persons will be thinking, all right, the Jamaican job, we're going to look on, like for example, when Tapa get the job, he did a good job, you know, but I don't think Tapa should have got the job. When he got the job, he never met the basic requirements to get the job. You understand what I said?
Did they? But back then, though, cease to be fair, did they have true requirements about what the criteria is and what the requirements were? Right? They've sort of improved the standards over time, right?
To be fair, they might not have had that, but however, best practices across the world would have had that, and I think that's where we struggled when it came on to World Cup qualification. We struggled when it came on to. Remember that the only reason why we were in the final round, you know, Kranky, was because of the whole because I think which season were we in the final round? I think Tapa was there in the COVID period, right?
Yeah, I think Tapa left. Yeah, it was during COVID.
And I think
Paul Hall took over. During that period, but Tapa was there.
The only reason we got to the round is because they reformatted the thing. Remember, they changed the format and said that like the top 6 teams in Besa and the top 6 CONCACAF teams would go to the X round or something like that. There was a change in format. Otherwise, we would have not been in the hexagonal round on the back of winning. We'd have to win games. Remember that thing, Canada had to play a qualification round in order to get to the hexagon. Not the X, but it was expanded to 8, if I'm not mistaken. The round was expanded to 8. So even when some people are talking about, we were in the final round, we were in the final round because of the formatting. Because it used to be an X, which is 6, but it was changed to 8. which is changed to almost the octagonal round. And then based on that, Canada who had to play qualifiers to get in the round, ended up going to the World Cup, and we did not. But if you look even in Canada's program and what Canada has done now, they have got in qualified coaches of world standard to elevate their program. So for me, I just think that we were using sense of a links business, or you used to play for Jamaica, or you are around the football for 20 years or 15 years, so you must know football. And I think that is where I think a lot of the mindset when it comes on to a lot of these jobs, Kranky, is we are approaching it. And even when it comes on to the development of local talent, I remember stating to someone, if it is that we're going to have a quota, right, in the U20 team, or a quota per se in the teams, why is it that we can't enforce a quota in the JPL? Why is it that they don't say 21 players, 23 players on the roster?
No, I have a better suggestion. I just came up with a brilliant suggestion. We need a quota in the JFF. We need a quota. Hey, TikTok, tell the JFF, we need a quota in the JFF. We need a quota. We need a quota, JFF. We need a quota in this. We need a quota in the organization. Trust me, we need a quota.
But to me, Kranky, I think the JPL should have a thing where them have like, you have 23, say you have a 23 roster, right? But in a 23 roster, you're going to say from number 18 slot, so number 19 slot to number 23 should be filled with developmental players and players under the age of 20. Between the age of 16 to 20 should fill the role of number 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 5 players in the team. And the U20 selection policy should be this. We are not players, the selection policy states, players that have played 900 minutes are equivalent of 10 games. 10 games to me would mean that you would qualify for a medal if you're playing on a team. If you're playing on a team, you play 10 games in the season, you qualify to get a championship medal if that team wins a trophy. So I'm thinking that you said to play for the U20 team, you will have to play a minimum of 10 games or 900 minutes at a semi-pro or professional level in order for us to even look at you. Remember, because when I look at it like that, Kranky, then what this will do is for all of those people who want to play local players in the team, which is fine enough if they're at the level. But what it will do is this. You will not just attach a player to your club and then you put him in the team and say that this player was playing in the JPL and he doesn't play more than 90 minutes, Kranky. Because if the player is good enough to play U20 and go and play against USA and Mexico and these teams that have professional players, that means that they're good enough to play at least 10 games in the JPL team. What do you think, Kranky?
I don't think JPL League is the barometer or the basis to assess a player's capability. We have players in the JPL who are in this team. Those players have not performed well.
How much games have they played, Kranky?
Some of them have played. Some of them have played 10 games. They haven't performed well.
No man, Kranky. Some of them
you
don't
think
play 10
you don't
games.
think the midfielder? I don't want to call people's names.
I'm telling you who played the most games.
No, don't call them names. But I'm saying
all right, sorry.
The players have played in the JPL for a number of games. The only player, and I've said this before and I say it again, who looked good in one of the games was the kid named Welsh, right? I think he's the one from Leyton Orient. Looked good in the first in a game they got 9. He looked halfway decent. Apart from that, I don't see any other standout player.
But one of the players that were in the team, Kranky, and this player was in the senior team too. It is alleged that the player had an injury.
Right.
So even if the player was to go there and play good, the player probably couldn't perform good because the player had an injury. And the next key point is this, because I remember this utterance when the coach did this for Damrip. But this is the last thing I say, Kranky, a 15-minute now. So
I'm glad you're checking yourself. You have self-awareness. Either you went by 5 minutes and then just 5 minutes. But go ahead.
So I remember when they were stating that for the Dominica game, right, the coach would have selected some players and persons in the technical committee would have raised their eyebrows saying that some of these players haven't played for a month. So why would the coach select these players, right?
Right.
So when you look at these players that in the U20 team, Kranky, some of these players haven't played for a month. or 2 months.
Right.
So why were they selected? The same thing that the coach for the Jamaica national team did with the Dominican game, where he would have selected players. He would have selected player who would have carried an injury, known player with an injury. He would have selected players who weren't playing
Yeah,
over a
but to be
month.
fair to Rudolph, though, Rudolph did say,
Mhm.
I'm gonna use my own term, that he was shocked that the coach selected 8 players, and that was one of the indication to him, or evidence provided to
Yes.
him, that the coach was not focused on
All
the
right.
qualification. The coach was thinking something else. The coach wasn't there because he selected 8 local players, a number of them who had stopped playing football. So Rudolph did say that. So he should be given credit for that.
Yeah, he did say that. But what I'm saying to you now, Kranky, is that why this rule applies to the U20 also.
Right.
A lot of these players weren't about a month. If they're even JPL players, they weren't playing any football for over a month now or so. So why did we select those players and left out players who would have played up to a week before the tournament?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why did we? You understand? But the reason why we did it is because there is a quote-unquote quota. And you would have to explain why would you need additional players to go above the quota.
I'm not sure people realize how much hand-wringing and frustration was being expressed by certain parties concerning the squad that was provided to CONCACAF. I'm not sure people realize behind the scenes what was transpiring and the frustration on certain people's part, because players that identified and should be part of the whole contingent weren't included. This was going back and forth for a while, and the view was that the coach also wanted some different players, and the person who was supposed to manage, the lady, whoever that lady was putting up a list, and you can imagine the lady just doing it by herself. She didn't just do it by herself.
But then my question
I've been hearing
is
about this for a long time before the list. Even though I wasn't following under 20, I got calls about this.
Yeah. But then my question, though, Kranky, is this. Aren't the coach supposed to be aware of the submission? Even if you upload the submission, and then the coach looks over it.
We don't know how much control the coach has. This misconception that some of these coaches have ultimate control. You
know what I realize? Yeah. Some of these coaches are, and we have to approach it like that. Some of these coaches are just, as I say, coach. Like in an NFL team where you would have the manager, and then you have the general manager, and then you have the coach. The coach is responsible for tactics and selecting the game day squad. But the manager is responsible for bringing in the players and doing certain backroom stuff. For me, it seems like when it comes down to some of these jobs, Kranky, it gives me the idea that the coach is just responsible for, all right, 21 player there, them 11 are going to start. This is the drill that we are doing. So basically, it's just picking the match day squad, selecting who is going to start, selecting who is going to be benched, selecting who comes on at what point in time, but not necessarily the other aspects of managing the team per se. So I think, and not necessarily having a responsibility with regards to that. And I think that is therein lies the problem. Because if I am the coach, Kranky, and I say I want such 5 players, and then I go and say, remember, this is not a club team where they're going to say, we don't have a budget to go buy them player there, you know. This is a national team where you can go out and look for the only thing you're going to do is pay for flights and accommodation and them things for players. I don't think you're I don't think you're paying the players because it's what? U20 level. And you're not paying for something there. You're not purchasing the players. There's no transfer fee involved. So to me, the coach, it cannot be the coach is just for game day coaching where I'm just pick 11, pick the squad, and that's it. And that I think causes the problem, Kranky, because your submission of the squad, and then people are going to come out and say the coach wanted some other players, but some of these players weren't submitted because such persons submit. Like it's all over the place when it's supposed to be working in cohesion. Like if I'm the coach, I'm going to say, the squad is uploaded as yet, and the person say yes. So I'm going to say, all right, send me the document or share the link in the SharePoint to show that the squad is public. I'm going to go on it and say, all right. And then I call you back now, Kranky, and say, but Kranky, you did not put CC on the list. You did not put ABC on the list. I don't see these 4 players. Can you add these 4 players? Remove those 4 players?
CC, I'm gonna cut you because I'm gonna close the channel. Let me just say CC.
Yeah.
Trust me, CC. I don't think the coach had the ability to do that. I'm just gonna say that. Or the coach was involved in the process about what name got submitted as much as they should have been. The coach, bless up Jerome. I don't think a coach should put in a situation where he or she doesn't have ultimate control, because the coach is the one getting beaten about the outcome. Nobody hear me. I beat the coach. The only thing I beat the coach about was what he did during the game, his in-game management. Because I've said this, when the team is down 2-0 in the first 6 minutes and 3-0 in 30 minutes, you have to then consolidate. You made 2 changes in the 28 minutes, somewhere around that. None of your changes was about consolidation. You didn't go to a back 5 to stop the bleeding. You're trying to play with them when you realize, you should have realized early, there's awareness factor. I'm out of my depth. Let me just consolidate, keep the score down. I have other games to play. But you don't hear me beat the coach a lot. You don't hear me beat the players a lot. I do take onus with the JFF, though, about a lot of different things concerning the squad. The squad itself, preparation, travel, the whole thing, and that they own this, and they're not acting like leaders and owners. So TikTok complain about them disrespected TikTok. Where's the JFF out here, TikTok, talking about that they're accountable, they own it, they have to do better, they will do better? Where's the JFF? They come out and talk about different things, TikTok, and you say we criticize them and we're disrespectful. Where's the leadership? Because we're not seeing the leadership, TikTok. You're saying we treat them different from other administration. Where's the leadership taking accountability for what transpired? Because it's bad. It's really bad. Right? We have a brand in Jamaica. We as a people believe in excellence. We try to achieve excellence. I don't see where the JFF is stepping up as leaders and saying, you know what? We own it. People like to beat our chest and like we do this. Where's the ownership, TikTok? Please tell me where the ownership is. And where people are taking...
bless up, Kranky.
Yeah. So thanks, CC. Thanks for calling in. I don't know if you're talking about me, Travis. You put in at Kranky Live. Triple E say to Kranky Live, you know, respond to me all that. No, TikTok. I mean, not TikTok. Triple E. Travis, Mickey, I respond to everything to Travis. Somebody accused me the other day that I wasn't protecting them in another chat when I was busy trying to interview someone who talks about something else. I try to put up as many comments as possible and respond as possible, but I'm also doing 5 or 6 things and some things behind the scene. I don't always see everything. As I've said before, people, respect each other. Let's be civil. Let's work as a collective. Look, TikTok. I think, I must say this, at least on my behalf, but in others, most people I talk to want the football to succeed. However, a lot of people I talk to are very negative about the JFF. They don't come in these forums. They don't go to games. They're gone. Some of them are not coming back, TikTok, no matter what you may think. Yes, a lot of them live in diaspora. The money I used to play football with. Some of them are football fanatics. They're gone. They're not coming back. They can't do with the JFF. They have different views that they express, which I can't even express in these forums, right? They want the football to do well, but they're like, I can't be bothered. Can't deal with it. Can't deal with the JFF. I know how they operate. And any football team that don't have fans who believe in the product, who support the product, have issues. I've said this before. No player want to play for the Ended Stadium. None. I was hearing somebody the other day talking about the league in Saudi Arabia, and they were saying they can't understand why players go there, you know, they're getting a lot of money, and they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars because they know fans in the stadium. They're comparing somebody getting 400,000 with 100,000. They say they should stay here because of the football, the ambience, the vibes, the notoriety, the accolades, right? So they want people to sacrifice money for all of that. And when we criticize TikTok, you're going to chastise and say, you know what, we're not supporting the JFF. If you do well, you get support. If you don't do well, comes to the territory, you're going to get criticized. Now, should we be disrespectful? I don't think we should be. But if I see something when I need to be incompetent, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but I'm going to call it out because it's not right. And you guys don't want any help. You just said, I mean, Travis will beat us and say, we are in the diaspora and we want to be involved, and you're excluding us. I don't want to be involved. I'm gonna say that right here. I don't want to be any place I'm not wanted. Let's put it that way. I will not go any place I'm not wanted. I stay away from those situations. All right? Well, you don't want any fans because it's a lot of them. See TikTok? That's the point of making TikTok. I have never heard anybody in the administration they don't want fans. I'm gonna say that again. TikTok. Even when people are getting beaten in England, I have never heard any person, senior person, in any club and in any administration say they don't want certain fans. When the fans may have a legitimate beef. So that's the point, TikTok. That's what the point you're missing. That's why you're not getting TikTok. So when you get criticized, you shouldn't complain then. Because you don't want those fans. And the fans have legitimate beef. They have a legitimate right to complain about how you operate in the JFF because you don't always, a lot of times you don't do things the right way. Not sometimes, a lot of times you don't do things the right way. But anyway, people, I'll say this, which is, if I'm disrespectful to the JFF, I'll actually apologize. And I'm not saying it because I want people on my channel. If they come, they don't come. If they come, they come. I'm going to say that right now. But I don't believe in disrespect. But they should be criticized when they don't do things the right way. They should be criticized. And I would always criticize them when they don't do the right thing. And if they don't like it, I'm going to use one word, tough. But I don't believe in disrespect. You never hear me calling in JFF corrupt. Even that word is thrown out a lot. If you go on Google, by the way, you're going to find it a lot, TikTok. So don't go on Google. Yeah, Travis, but they have to be good enough to be sold. Because here's the thing, Travis. You know how many years, Travis, come back to me, Travis. You and TikTok. And tell me how many players you have sold overseas, we have sold them to, especially to Europe, and how many have returned home. Let's get those stats. Because you have to make sure the product is good enough for it to be sold and it can stand the test of time and can function and excel in the environment they go to. You can't just try to sell players and the product is not at the level it should be. And it's not these kids' fault that they didn't do well in this situation. I'm blaming the JFF. Right? We have to be better, people. And it was disheartening seeing the kids out there struggling and can't put 5 passes together when we're saying they're the best of the lot we have. And we know, if we're being truthful, we have other players who are Jamaicans who maybe could have helped. I don't know, Nitro. I get confused. I don't think so. I never heard that TikTok. I have never heard some people are saying they don't care what other fans think. I never heard that. What I've always heard is that a lot of times people say fans may be too harsh, they may be too critical. But I never hear people, when you say you don't want fans in them, you don't want money. People don't seem to translate that. Or you don't want the support. Because if these are people who love football, want to be involved in football, want to support the national team, but what you do dissuade them from doing so, it's not a good thing. Okay. Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe I need to get one. I don't have one, Triple E. So, Travis, if people are trolling you, I apologize. That should not be the case. And maybe what we can do is, but I don't know if the word Travis is. So if I disassociate the person from the channel, Travis, I may be cutting out the wrong Travis. But we'll figure it out. Maybe you can text me, Travis. My number is running. Well, I don't even know which Travis is texting me either if you text me, but we'll figure something out. People, if you're in the chat pretending you're a Travis, that's inappropriate. That's not right. And you shouldn't do that, right? It's not appropriate to do that, people. Be yourself. All right, people. I'm coming to the end of the program. I'm not going to give you music to go out because people tell me my music needs work. I'm going to say a couple things. One, thanks for being here. It's a long discussion. It's almost 4 hours. I was talking to one of my ex-colleagues from India today, and he told me, he called my name and he said, I watch your channel, but you're on for like 3 hours. So he said, I put you on 1.5 when I'm driving to the office because you drive about an hour to listen to you. But he repeated it. Your hours is 3 hours. You go on 3 hours sometimes. So if you're listening, you know you are. I don't mean to go on this long, but the conversation was good. Yeah, TikTok. I do think the JFF. Look, TikTok, the JFF can do better. I know they can do better. They have some smart people in there, in the organization. We know this. But I'm not sure if it's because they're doing 10 different things. I'm not sure if it's arrogance. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not working as it should. It's not working as it should. We should not have a team of kids going to play in Copa and they're not ready to play. And we should never sit to my view on Quota is well known. I'm not going to repeat it again. But you know what? We shouldn't go to Copa then. Not Copa, I mean the under 20. We shouldn't go. If this is how we're going to play, we should not go. Don't expose the kids to this. Retrain them, get them to the right place. If is how we're going to perform, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money and time going. This experience is not good experience. If they're losing 1-0 and 2-0, it's a different story. And they're competing. They're not competing. Why are they there? It doesn't make any sense. It's unfair to those kids. They don't deserve this. So anyway. Yeah, the Caribbean is going in one direction, people. The Americas, the industrialized world, the Canadas, the Americas are going in one direction. I'm surprised that Costa Rica can still compete the way they do, even though they're a small country, small population. They only have maybe one key sport, so maybe that's it. They're not trying to compete in 10 different things, but we have to do better. So JFF is doing better. They are the best federation in the Caribbean in TikTok. You know, TikTok, when you go into those people you see on the beach in Jamaica or doing the what do you call it, the limbo thing, and they're going down and the bar is real low, TikTok. Come on, TikTok, they're not doing better than Dominican Republic. And TikTok, you made a statement which may not be true. Because even though some countries may not be doing well on the field, they may have better federation. They just don't have the players to compete, right? And we're not doing better than Dominican Republic. They're at the Olympics. And they're coming from a much farther distance away in terms of football. They're making good progress. That's why you hear me beating the drum for the Spanish coach. Their progress is real. They drew with Egypt today. So yes, at the senior level, where we have players who are born overseas as Jamaicans playing, yeah. But at the same time, we have a Dominican Republic who beat us at the junior level, who is showing real progress that we're not showing. So are we doing better with the best federation? I don't know about that. That's a statement you can make, but I'm not sure you have evidence to substantiate that statement. Anyway, people, I've come to the end of the program. Thanks for being here. It's almost 4 hours. I don't have patience to do anything for 4 hours. I'm surprised I can do this. But I appreciate you being here. I won't tell you to hit the like button because I know people do it nowadays, and I appreciate that. I will be back. What's today? Wednesday? I'm not sure I'm going to be back tomorrow after such a long program. But my Balanced View channel is live and operating. I will probably be back there tomorrow. Most of the thing I've talked about has been about U.S. politics and about Kamala and Trump. I'm hyped about that, especially how she's progressing. So please join me tomorrow on that channel. I expect to be there. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about, but I may not be doing this channel tomorrow. All right, people? Again, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And good night. Thanks a lot.